Broadcasting from the Sacramento Republic FC studios. KHTK AM and HD. KNCI HD3 Sacramento. This is Sports 1140 KHTK. We do sports. Now, your Sports 1140 KHTK update. Brought to you by J.R. Putman Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
Good morning, this is Kyle Madson with your top stories on Sports 1140. The Zion Williamson show last night lasted only 36 seconds at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Duke's star forward blew out a shoe and injured his knee in the first minute of number 1 Duke's 88-72 loss to number 8 North Carolina. Coach K called the injury a mild knee sprain, and a timeline for Williamson's return is unknown. And the NBA is back tonight. The Kings open their final 25-game stretch in Oakland against the Warriors. The Warriors announced that center DeMarcus Cousins will be without a minutes restriction for the first time since his return from an Achilles injury back in January. Our coverage on Sports 1140 begins with game night at 6. Kings Live is at 7. And then tip-off a little later than normal tonight is at 7:30. Those are your top stories. And now it's time for The Drive with Damien filling in for Dave on Sports 1140 KHTK.
Sounds so lonely to say Damien filling in for Dave. Like there's just me and you.
You're just Dave today.
That's it. Oh, no. I am not Dave. I'm not Dave today or any day. I'm Damien Barling and so happy you are here with us. No Jay Ross today. The king of the live stream is not with us today or tomorrow. He's out taking care of some of his duties as the boss of the radio station. So he'll be back with me on Monday when we go back to our normal time at noon. In the meantime, again, so happy that you are here with us. Carmichael Dave will be back on Monday. You want to connect with the show, a number of ways you could do it. Jiffy Lube text line, that's already up and rolling here. At 441140, you want to get in on the phone lines, you can. The Fire Wings hotline, try one of their delicious 21 flavors of wings today. Fire Wings, just wing it, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. The NBA is back tonight. There are 6 games, including the Boston Celtics and Milwaukee Bucks. You got the Rockets and the Lakers. LeBron's playoff mode has been activated. Watch out, world. We'll get to that. The Heat and the Sixers as well. And, of course, your Sacramento Kings are in Oakland to open up the second part of the NBA season as they'll take on the Golden State Warriors. You heard Kyle Madson mention just a moment ago. The Warriors may look a little bit different as the minutes restriction that DeMarcus Cousins has been on since his return will be lifted. Steve Kerr said there's no specific amount of time that they're looking at aiming at with DeMarcus Cousins, but they don't have any restrictions on him. He'll be out there, and he'll be a go full force. Lots of intriguing storylines headed into tonight's game. Of course, here for us, we're focused on one thing, and that is your Sacramento Kings making a push for that 8th or perhaps that 7th playoff spot in the Western Conference. Both of them are attainable, and we'll have our eyes on the Rockets and the Lakers as well. As LeBron said, playoff mode is activated. Most people have just written it off as, well, the Clippers don't want to make the playoffs, so it's definitely going to be the Lakers. You can't rule out LeBron. You can't bet against LeBron James making the playoffs. No, you shouldn't. It's not a wise bet. But when you look at what's around him and you look at the way that Laker team has played of late, I'm just not quick to jump on that bandwagon.
Yeah, the kind of internal destruction by trade requests and trade offers, very public negotiation between the Lakers and the Pelicans.
Yeah,
I think did something to that team that is going to make it really difficult, even with playoff Bron activated.
Yeah. I just don't know. We keep alluding to it. Might as well just
please
have that for you. If I was quick, see if I was smoother. If I had Jason here, Jason would be stalling for time while I just stare at my screen wondering why I can't see the clip that says my playoff intensity has been activated.
My level of intensity has to be, unfortunately for me, because I don't like to do it at such an early time, I'm a little bit different, but it's been activated, so look forward to seeing what we can do.
He's so passive-aggressive, dude. He's so passive-aggressive. He is the man. He is perhaps the greatest player we have ever seen, but his level of passive-aggressiveness is at like a 12 out of 10.
Yeah. He is. Does he do like a seance to activate playoff mode?
I think so.
Like, what does that look like?
Well, he goes in, remember, Zero Dark 23 also.
Oh, right.
Shut down social media. Don't tweet, don't Instagram, don't nothing. You just shut it all down and you go into, and there's a big proclamation for that because he has to tweet Zero Dark 23, but that's not until the playoffs actually start. So if he were to go Zero Dark 23 early, then you'd know it's serious.
That's when you know it's over. I'm thinking 5 seed for the Lakers if he goes Zero Dark 23.
Right. You can't proclaim you can't proclaim activation. Right? You can, it's like in Michael Scott, you can't declare bankruptcy just by yelling, I declare bankruptcy. Like LeBron, you can't just declare playoff activation. Like there has to be something that he goes through.
Especially when they're playing the Rockets tonight. They could very easily lose tonight. And LeBron looks real dumb.
Wouldn't the argument be they should lose? Capella's back tonight.
Well, I'm just saying with playoff LeBron activated, everything's on the table. But if you're going to say that, you have to now win. Because if you go, oh, it's activated, and then they go get smoked, it's like, well, great. Cool, man.
Cool.
Good for you.
That activation is doesn't have that soul glow activation like from Coming to America, but it's activated. You probably got to put the shower cap over it to get the full activation. These are lines that are going over your head because I don't imagine you've ever put activator gel in your hair.
What?
I'm just going to go out
every day,
on a limb.
dude.
I'm just going to go out there and say you probably have never used
with this luscious mane.
You've never put the shower cap on to get that extra sweat out of the get that extra sheen out of the activator gel.
No, I've got it. I'm going to admit I've never done that.
It's all right. We'll do it for the live stream one day.
Okay, good. Perfect. I'll let my hair grow out a little bit.
Indeed. The Kings right now sitting at 30-27. The Los Angeles Clippers, who occupy the 8th spot, are sitting at 32-27. And then you have the San Antonio Spurs at 33-26. So much talk about the 7 and the 8 while not acknowledging the fact that the Utah Jazz are just 32-25. The Jazz and the Rockets, who are at 5 and 6 right now, very much within reach for teams like the Sacramento Kings and the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm not high on the Minnesota Timberwolves. I know Jason spoke kindly about them about a week ago. I'm not big on them. I'm not buying it. They've gone through multiple reboots here this year. They've hit the reset button a couple of times with Jimmy Butler and their head coach. I don't buy it. There's nothing I see in that team that makes me believe that they'll have a playoff push. Obviously, I feel the same about the Dallas Mavericks, the New Orleans Pelicans, and the Memphis Grizzlies have been a disaster for the better part of 2 months now. So I think when it comes to those final playoff spots, we're talking about the Spurs, the Clippers, the Kings, and the Lakers. And I've just told you how I felt about the Lakers. LeBron can obviously prove me wrong, but I don't believe that if the Lakers make the playoffs, we're talking about a heroic effort from Brandon Ingram. If they make the playoffs, if the Los Angeles Lakers make the playoffs, we're just adding another chapter or an amendment or something to LeBron's book of greatness, and that's it.
It's gonna take those guys stepping up, though, for sure. I think
which I'm questioning whether they're going to be able to do.
Absolutely, that's my only real question. LeBron. I feel so dumb saying with playoff LeBron activated,
Yeah.
like it's an actual thing. With LeBron trying, he can go average 28, 9, and 7, and okay, he's going to get his numbers, but who else is going to contribute? We've seen him average triple doubles in the finals, and it not
lose,
it not work out. They need Kyle Kuzma, they need Brandon Ingram, they need contributions from elsewhere, or else this any effort from LeBron isn't going to get him into the postseason. It's too tight at the back end of the West.
And so what team is this Laker team that will be competing for that final playoff spot with the Clippers and the Kings? Are they the team that lost by 42 or the team that came back from like 18 down against the Boston Celtics? Because those are the last – there's a third game in there that they lost right before the break. I can't remember who they played. But that's who we're talking about right now. We're talking about those most dramatic versions of the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah, so they lost that game without LeBron to the Warriors by 14. Then they lost to the Pacers. That was the 42-point loss.
Okay, yeah.
Then they had to come back against the Celtics, like you said. They got blown out by the Sixers, and then they lost to the Hawks.
The Hawks, that's the one. Gosh, I didn't realize the Sixers game was in there too.
Yeah.
So they oh, that's right. That was the game that Magic flew to Philadelphia.
Right.
That was the game where Magic tried to have the big
tampered with Ben Simmons.
kumbaya and everything is okay. And yes, the Ben Simmons stuff came out today. Hey, stop treating these guys like babies. They're men and all of that. Completely forgot about the Philadelphia game. It was the Atlanta game that was stuck in my head.
They win the Atlanta game if playoff LeBron is activated, though.
They win every game if playoff LeBron is truly activated. And you'll have to forgive me. I'm going to be pausing like every 30 to 60 seconds without Jason here because for some reason I can't put together a string of sentences without the desire to cough. It's really obnoxious. It's really frustrating. I'm not sick. I'm far from sick. But about every 60 seconds, I have the urge to just cough.
It's probably because you have to talk to me.
It's probably it.
I think that's it.
That's the only reason I'm going to say no is because I recorded 40 straight minutes of a podcast yesterday in which I held back every cough that I had. It was brutal. It's brutal and it's not fun. But I don't have a mute button.
So this is just like a new thing?
Yeah, you just hold it in and you can hear when I'm doing it too because my voice will change and I'll go a little bit deeper here and it kind of clears the jugular.
Yeah.
And it gives you a solid string of talking right there. So forgive me if I just start hacking into the microphone or on the live stream. If you'd like to check us out, you can. KHTK.com. I know it's not as nearly as fun without J-Ross here. As a matter of fact, J-Ross isn't here. The Champ's not here. Cody's not here. But the Lowdown lives within the studio here.
Is that helping you from Well, wait, why did you say that with so much just staying there at the end?
You're here.
Do you feel a little lonely in the studio today? I know you're surrounded by photos of your friends, but it's not quite the same, is it?
No, it's quite different. But normally when Jason isn't here for the Lowdown at 12 o'clock, I'm just by myself, and Chris is in the other room. So Chris doesn't interact with me as much when I'm by myself because I get really, really moody. Like as opposed to normal days where I'm totally not moody and completely normal. But I get like when I'm by myself, I get really, really locked into the show and what I'm doing because, as you know, there's no one to bail you out.
Right, yeah.
Like if you have this great idea for a topic and you're going to talk about Zion Williamson and you're going to talk about him playing 33 seconds and you're going to talk about the former president of the United States being in the building and the conversation gets started and no one on the text line's reacting, no one on the phone lines is reacting, and hell, you're bored with your own conversation and you got to move on to something else, but you don't have anything else planned and you don't know exactly what to do, that bailout factor of your co-host being there is gone. So when I'm totally alone, and obviously I have you, so I'm far from alone today. But when I'm totally alone, I'm locked in. I don't speak, and Chris generally just doesn't speak to me before the show.
Not a lot of feelings worse than having a topic that doesn't end up fleshing out the way you want it to. Mm-hmm. It feels like running into a wall. Just running headlong into a wall.
Like a wall of fire, because then you start to sweat.
Oh, my
and then
gosh.
You start wondering how many people are listening. Yeah. And then you start wondering, like, how much work. Then you start wondering, okay, can I get 4 minutes out of this? Like, the two hardest things to do in this business, one, and people will never, like, it's like the icebreaker. Like, when you approach a woman or you approach a man, it's someplace that you want. The hardest part is starting the conversation. It's the same thing when the show starts. It's the same thing when the show comes back from the commercial break. We'll know what the conversation is going to be, but the question is, how do you start it? How do you say something that energizes someone so much that they just want to hear you talk about it or they want to engage in a conversation about it? And the other thing is figuring out whether you can get a solid 8 minutes out of a Zion Williamson conversation. But we're going to find out because that's the biggest story in all the sports right now. One of the most recognizable athletes goes down 33 seconds into a game that somebody somewhere paid $10,000 to see. We'll touch on that, and we will talk a lot more about the Kings and the Warriors as the Kings are back in action tonight.
The Sacramento Kings begin their push for the playoffs tonight with their final matchup of the regular season against the defending champion Golden State Warriors.
College dive, hammers it on the quick turn.
Game time is 7:30 on your home of the Kings. Sports 1140 KHTK.
And that will seal the deal.
Men, are you looking for an affordable option to treat erectile dysfunction that won't break the bank? Melrose Pharmacy has the answer. It's called Sildenafil, the same active ingredient in Viagra. Melrose Pharmacy is offering a huge cost savings on this generic 20 milligram tablet. Get 50 tablets for just $100. That's $2 a pill. A prescription from your doctor is required, and we offer free discreet mailing. Call Melrose Pharmacy, 1-844-826-7829, or visit melrosepharmacy.com and cash in on the savings today.
You guys gotta see it.
Do we have to go downstairs for this?
I've seen one before.
So, what do you think?
We get it. Nobody will rave about your new furnace. It's just not that thrilling. But when you need one, you need it now. So call Bonnie, the home service heroes. We've got you covered with home heating solutions when you're least excited about it.
Boney, Bonnie.com.
Wish I had one of those.
Call Bonnie.
License 696-355.
Big savings are yours now during the President's Day event on Now at Natus Subaru Sacramento. Right now at Natus Subaru Sacramento, lease a new 2019 Outback 2.55 or new 2019 Forester, just $159 a month. Yep, drive away in a new 2019 Outback or Forester, just $159 a month. And there's 5 of each to choose from. Or choose 0% APR financing on select models. And your first year's maintenance is included with every new Natus Subaru.
On approved credit, 36 monthly payments plus tax. 0% on Outback, KDB01, IS 301615. Forester KFB02, $39.99 drive off less tax, license, doc fee, and first payment due at signing. 10,000 annual miles, 15 cents per excess mile. No security deposit.
New Outback or Forester, $159 a month. You choose, you save at Natus Subaru Sacramento. NatusSubaru.com. Over 300 new and certified pre-owned Subarus available. Natus Subaru. Simple, sincere, transparent.
Made a great deal at Maida.
Is your minivan meh? Your sedan sort of eh? Are you over your crossover? Then hurry to Cache Creek and play in the Cache Creek 500 slot tournaments, where you could drive away in a brand new 2019 Corvette. Play once every Friday through Monday from 12 noon till 10 p.m. On February 22nd and March 8th, the tournaments will start at 4 p.m. The top 5 daily scores win cash. Plus, move on to the finals on March 17th. That's right, the finals are on St. Patrick's Day, the same day as our $1,000 lucky jackpots that randomly hit every hour from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. So you could score a $1,000 random jackpot and win the Corvette at the tournament finals. The Cache Creek 500, only at Cache Creek Casino Resort. Play here, play the best. Visit CacheCreek.com for more information.
It's awards season.
And the winner is...
No, not those awards. It's award season at Nissan Now. Nissan earned a headline-making 3 J.D. Power Awards, including Best Midsize Car, Large Car, and Midsize Pickup in Initial Quality. And now get President's Day savings on our full lineup, including Rogue and the all-new Altima, both with available Pro Pilot Assist. Plus, save big on the powerful Titan. Shop your local Nissan store and choose Nissan.com today.
Get 0 down, 0 payments for 90 days, and 0% financing for up to 60 months on the 2019 Nissan Rogue.
Don't run out of time. Hurry to Nissan now.
For well-qualified buyers, $1,667 per month per thousand financed for 60 months. The delayed payment must begin exactly 90 days from the date of the contract. No security deposit required. Must finance through NMAC and take delivery from new dealer stock. Call 1-888-858-8319 for offer details. For J.D. Power 2018 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Ends 2/28/19.
Sacramento, D.C. here for Beck's Furniture and Sleep. Sacramento born and raised, Sacramento proud, being locally owned for 50 years. That lets you know how they operate. That means no games pricing. Beck's shops the market so you don't have to. Factory direct, which means from the factory to Beck's directly to your home. Visit them today. Tell them DC sent you. Beck'sFurniture.com.
Beck's Furniture.
Sacramento weather brought to you by Von Hausen Motor Group. The rain's moving out this morning, leaving clear skies behind. Windy this afternoon with a high of 57.
It's the Von Hausen Spring into Mercedes-Benz event. Drive a 2018 CLA 250 Coupe, former courtesy loaner, just $28,976.
Offered is pre-owned.
Hi, I'm Kelly Brothers. Visit us today at vonhausen.com and at Mercedes-Benz of Sacramento, Mercedes-Benz of Rockland, or Mercedes-Benz of El Dorado Hills.
Good morning and welcome back. This is Cody from The Lowdown. If you want to check us out on social media, you can find me at Cody Baylor, Damien at Damien Barling, Jason at Jason Ross 1140, and Chris at @SAC_MCFC. Also, check out The Lowdown on Facebook. Damien and Jason, back to you.
Thanks, Cody. No Jason today. That's all right. Jay Ross will be back with us on Monday when we're back on The Lowdown at noon. Of course, Carmichael Dave will be back here, although Carmichael Dave is reading and responding to your text messages. So be sure when you praise the Lowdown, know that you're going to get a response from Carmichael Dave at a random hour, and just know that it's not me. Just so everybody is aware of that.
My goal in life...
He's also tweeting.
My goal in life is to... Because I'll tweet on vacation. I'll use Facebook. I'll be on social media on vacation. My goal in life is to never jump on the text line while on vacation.
Solid.
If that never happens, I'll consider myself a success.
Okay. All right.
Do you jump on the text line when you're on vacation?
I do not.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
That is not something that I do. I don't know. I've gotten more into Instagram because of the stories. I try to do more with the stories because I always think that those are cool to share. But yeah, I don't have anything important to say. Like, no one cares. On Twitter, like, there is nothing in the world that's happening so much. Though I am prepared to fire off a tweet about the Steelers general manager, and I don't know what part of the show we planned that for, but I can't wait to talk about the Steelers general manager and what a jackass he is.
He had some takes yesterday.
If I was a Pittsburgh Steeler, I would walk directly into his office and tell him to kiss every inch of my ass.
Yeah.
If my boss uttered a phrase similar to what he said yesterday about every Pittsburgh Steeler not named Ben Roethlisberger, I would walk directly into his office and tell him to kiss every inch of my ass. You don't speak about other grown men in the way that this dude spoke about the Pittsburgh Steelers. No wonder that locker room is a sea of dysfunction. That idiot is running it. Are you serious? He referred to the other Pittsburgh Steelers. He referred to the Pittsburgh Steelers not named Ben Roethlisberger, Ben Roethlisberger's 52 kids. Are you freaking kidding me? His 52 kids? He's the leader. He's earned this right to criticize other people. He's been accused of rape twice. That's the guy leading the Pittsburgh Steelers locker room. Ben Roethlisberger remains and will forever be trash. He is a trash-ass human being. But he gets a pass because he's a quarterback and he doesn't suck. There might be one other factor as to why he gets a pass, but I'll let some of you more intelligent members of the audience figure it out on your own. Teddy Bridgewater's not getting this pass. Lamar Jackson's not getting this pass. Cam Newton sure as hell ain't getting this pass. Cam Newton gets criticized, and I did criticize him as well for calling a reporter sweetheart. He gets more criticism for that than Ben Roethlisberger gets for being a two-time accused rapist. But I'm sure there's nothing to this. It's all optics. There's nothing there. And he's got 52 kids he's got to worry about, apparently, according to the guy who runs the Pittsburgh Steelers. Amazing. You wonder why guys like Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown want out. I'm not Ben Roethlisberger's kid, bruh. I'm better than Ben Roethlisberger. I am a better wide receiver than Ben Roethlisberger is a quarterback. I'm a better running back than Ben Roethlisberger is a quarterback. But you're telling me I got to respect him when he goes on his radio show and says, I got to run an out route? I got to run a flat route better? Man, throw the ball where it's supposed to be, and then we'll talk. Until then, keep your mouth shut about the routes I'm supposed to run. We're not going to talk about that yet. We're going to talk about that at 7. That's coming up at 7 o'clock. The Steelers.
Oh, that was only the sneak preview.
That was the tease.
Oh, okay.
That was. I got to have a more effective tease when we plan segments coming up. So we'll get to that at 7 o'clock. Great Facebook question from the mind of Kyle Madson. How confident are you that the Kings will make the playoffs? Obviously, their push for the playoffs begins tonight when they take on the Golden State Warriors at Oracle. Kyle mentioned the odd start time. It is a 7:30 start time for your Sacramento Kings, as they will be back in action again. Of course, you can catch all of the action. Kings Live beginning at 7 o'clock tip-off shortly after 7:30. We'll spend a great deal of time talking about that game. If you want to take part in the Facebook question, you can. Head over to the Lowdown Facebook page and check us out. How confident are you that the Kings will make the playoffs? Confidence level in the Kings, perhaps lack of confidence in the Lakers and the Clippers as well. I think all of that is going to factor in to the conversation, and I threw this out last week, Kyle, and I'm still curious, and we will be curious all the way until the season starts to wrap up. But if the Clippers are like right on the bubble, like if it's really just down to those three teams, what does Doc do? Because this is making the playoffs and getting your first-round pick. Like, being the sacrificial lamb potentially for the Golden State Warriors or getting your first-round pick. Because if they make the playoffs, they don't get the pick. If they miss the playoffs, even if it's by one game, they're in the lottery. And you got to wonder, they obviously have grand plans for this upcoming offseason. Those plans include Kawhi Leonard. I'm sure they include another marquee free agent. They have room to sign multiple free agents, but I imagine that looks a smidge bit more appealing when you've got the team, one, playing the way that it has without a star player. Two, if they're in the mix at the end of the season, that means they did it without Tobias Harris, who statistically was their best player. You got Doc Rivers, you got a first-round pick, and now you've got a really appealing destination that might wind up looking better than the Los Angeles Lakers by the time July 10th rolls around.
Yeah, they've done everything to set themselves up for next year and the couple of years after that, because they acquired that 2021 Miami pick from Philly, I believe, in the Tobias Harris trade. So you look at the next 3 or 4 years for the Clippers, and it looks great. It looks a little less great if they make the postseason this year and they miss out on next year's pick.
Yeah.
Or this year's pick.
Yeah, this year's. They would miss this year's pick. I mean, it's pretty. I mean, lost in all of this conversation, because I didn't even know this until the Tobias Harris deal. I had no idea they lost their first-round pick if they made the playoffs until the Tobias Harris deal. But if they wind up making the playoffs, it would be 24, 5, 6 games without Tobias Harris.
Mm-hmm.
If they're able to hold on, that's pretty incredible. In the Western Conference, that's pretty phenomenal, because, last year Utah did it, right? You could argue Utah was in the Clippers position, and that's where Donovan Mitchell has emerged as a star. That's where we realized how great Rudy Gobert was as a defender and how great of a defensive coach Quinn Snyder was. Well, what are you pointing to if you're looking at the Los Angeles Clippers here? You were pointing at Tobias Harris, but he's now a Philadelphia 76er. To me, you're solely looking at Doc Rivers right now.
Not Shai Gilgeous-Alexander?
I don't think so.
Player.
I don't think you're looking at any of that. I mean, maybe you're looking at Jerry West, or
that's what I'm circling as the key factor in why I think they're going to rest a couple of guys down the stretch here, because building a team, like you said, being a sacrificial 8 seed for the Nuggets or Warriors is not conducive to long-term success, I don't think.
Agree.
Whereas having a pick, even if it's the number 13 or 14 or 15 pick, is much better than getting to play 4 extra games and not having that pick. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Clippers start to rest a couple of players here and there, or be extra cautious.
Well,
with
I would just really watch the final week, where we're talking about like the final 4 games, so it'll be a little over a week. But the final 4 games, I assume the Lakers are going to be lingering around. We all hope the Sacramento Kings are going to be lingering around, and I believe that they are. Well, where will the San Antonio Spurs be in the final week of the season? It's hard to imagine them not being in the conversation. With 20-some-odd games left, they're in the 7th spot right now. One bad week, and they're in the 9th spot. You would need a couple of good weeks from either the Los Angeles teams or a combination of the Los Angeles teams and the Sacramento team. But it's hard to envision them not being in the conversation, but San Antonio has no reason to not make the playoffs. Lakers, LeBron James, playoff LeBron is activated. We'll see where that goes. We'll spend more time talking about basketball. We haven't really even dug into the conversation regarding Zion Williamson yet. We will do that. The Giants and Bryce Harper a real possibility, and do the Giants feel extra pressure by the fact that Manny Machado signed with the San Diego Padres? All things that we got coming up as the drive continues here on Sports 1140.
Away from your radio? Don't worry, because the KHTK app will allow you to catch all the shows you love. Just download the app now and get all your favorite shows on your digital device of choice. The all-new Sports 1140 app. Get it today.
Hey, Sacramento. Thinking about selling your home? Check out Open Door, the new hassle-free way to sell without stressful showings or endless negotiations. Homeowners love the ease of selling to Open Door. Just listen.
Open Door took all of the uncertainty out of the process. They held our hand through it, and it was so easy.
The convenience and the ease of it, Open Door blew us away. It was so simple.
Open Door made things easy. There was no stress in staging your home. They just take care of everything.
I would do Open Door again in a heartbeat.
Find out what they're so excited about. Visit opendoor.com/sold and answer a few simple questions about your home. Our local real estate experts will make a custom offer just for you. It's free and there's no obligation to accept. Selling your home is a big decision and you should know all your options. Go to opendoor.com/sold to receive a competitive offer today. Open Door is represented by Open Door Brokerage Inc., a licensed real estate brokerage in the state of California. License ID number 02061130. Customers were compensated for their time. Opinions are their own.
This is Brandon Tierney with a CBS Sports Minute sponsored by Glassdoor. Find the right fit for your business at glassdoor.com/hire. Probably didn't think the Padres were going to cough up $300 million for Manny Machado, did you? You know who wanted Machado? The White Sox wanted him. They reportedly offered in the neighborhood of $300 million as well, but he spurned that offer to go to San Diego. So they still have money to spend. Here's how they should spend it. Take the $300 million and disperse it in a bunch of different spots. Dallas Keuchel will give you 3 years plus an option. Craig Kimbrell, here's 2 years for $20 million a pop. Marwin Gonzalez will give you 4 years, $65 million. Adam Jones will give you Andrew McCutchen money, 3 years, $50 million. And we already have Jose Abreu as the mainstay DH. And you look at the division if this ever happened. The Tigers stink, the Royals stink, the Twins stink. Your only competition's the Indians. White Sox, join the party, mix it up, make it really interesting. I'm BT.
If you need a work truck, you need a dealer who works as hard as you, like Maida Chevy in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, a business elite dealer. Maida Chevy has the commercial vehicle you're looking for. Work-ready Silverados, express vans, commercial loaners, and so much more. All backed by Maida Chevy pros who know your vehicles are your livelihood. Whether you need one vehicle or an entire fleet, Maida Chevy's got you covered. Business elite at Maida Chevy, Sacramento's #1 Chevy dealer for over 10 years. Find new roads.
Sacramento retail sales.
Made a great deal at Maida.
That sound means only one thing. Dave Matthews Band Live. Saturday, September 7th, Golden One Center. Tickets on sale this Friday, February 22nd at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com or the venue box office. Don't miss Dave Matthews Band Summer Tour 2019.
Toyota's President's Day sale is in effect, but hurry, time is running out. Lease a Corolla for $199 a month with $500 lease bonus cash or get $2,500 down payment match. It's the final days of Toyota's President's Day sales event. Ends 2/28/19. Toyota, let's go places.
The Sacramento Weather Report is brought to you by Wawanesa Insurance. Rain's moving out this morning, leaving clear skies. Windy this afternoon with a high of 57. Save up to 25% when you bundle your home and auto insurance with Wawanesa. For a free quote, call 877-WAWA-NESA or visit wawanesa.com and see how much you save.
Now, your Sports 1140 KHTK update. Brought to you by J.R. Putman Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
This is Kyle Madson with your top stories on Sports 1140. The Zion Williamson show lasted all of 36 seconds last night at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Duke star forward blew out a shoe and injured his knee in the first minute of #1 Duke's 88-72 loss to #8 North Carolina. Coach K called the injury a mild knee sprain. A timeline for Williamson's return is unknown. And the NBA is back tonight. The Kings open their final 25-game stretch in Oakland against the Warriors. Warriors center DeMarcus Cousins will be without a minutes restriction for the first time since he returned from an Achilles injury back in January. Our coverage on Sports 1140 begins with Game Night at 6. Kings Live is at 7. Tip-off tonight, a little later than normal, is set for 7:30. Those are your top stories, and now it's back to the drive. Damien filling in for Dave on Sports 1140 KHTK.
We appreciate you so much for being here with us this morning. You can watch along on KHTK.com if you'd like to see the handsome face of Kyle Madson. Of course, king of the live stream, Jason Herbert Walker Ross, isn't with us here today. But he'll be back with us on the show on Monday. And the Lowdown Live, the live stream for the Lowdown begins 1 week from tomorrow, next Friday, and every Friday after that. The Lowdown will be live on KHTK.com, so you could check out Jason's antics on the live stream beginning next Friday, 12 to 3, and every Friday after that. Zion Williamson leaves the game because his shoe blew out is an odd sports story to lead the day with. But that's obviously very much what happened. And Nike had to put out a statement about their basketball shoe. It was the Paul George shoe, by the way. The PG 2.5. That's what it was. 36 seconds. 36 seconds into the game that somebody somewhere paid $10,000 to be at. A game that President Barack Obama was at. A game that Spike Lee was at. A game in which all of these dignitaries came to see one guy. 36 seconds into it, that guy gone. And the game is, from that point on, essentially over.
What's incredible is there were still like 2 top 5 picks playing for Duke.
Oh, yeah. And at least one for North Carolina, right? Like North Carolina's got some first-round draft picks.
No,
Maybe
I think
not
it's
top
Nasir
10.
Little who didn't play last night.
Yeah, so they've got that was tough to watch too. Once the tweet came out from Duke basketball that Zion Williamson wasn't coming back and they reported it on TV, it was like, oh, okay, that was Duke's first wire-to-wire loss since December 31st, 2016. When they lost to Virginia Tech. 4 of Duke's 5 home losses as the AP number 1 all-time have been to North Carolina.
Wow.
The 16-point loss is the largest by an AP number 1 at home since UConn lost by 17 to Villanova back in 1999.
Jeez.
So it was a historic night for many reasons, but not the reasons that all of those people who attended that game thought they would see. You mentioned the top 5. R.J. Barrett was still there. Cam Reddish was still there. None of that's the story, man, without Zion Williamson.
Getting away from the Zion thing momentarily, UNC came into the game getting, like, no respect, even though they were the number 8 team in the country.
Yeah.
They went 2 of 20 from 3 and still won by 16.
Yeah.
Duke was very visibly shook by losing Zion.
Well, and Roy Williams knew exactly what to do. He acknowledged after the game that we know how much Zion Williamson changes the game. We were able to adjust to that. The adjustment that they made without Zion Williamson out there, something that they almost certainly didn't realize they were going to be able to do before the game, was attack the paint.
Yeah.
And they were able to attack to paint to the tune of 62 points. It's the most by a Duke opponent in 4 years. And that, we talk so much about the highlight plays on the offensive end. We talk about the highlight blocks, but we forget just defensively. He is a load down there, and he creates issues for team trying to score in the paint. And North Carolina was able to do that, which is why they can go 2 for 20 from three-point range and still handily win, because they were able to control a position on the court that no Duke opponent has been able to control this year.
Luke May, the center power forward for North Carolina, went for 30 and 15. He's the first player to go for 30 and 15 against Duke since 1963. Like, he just dominated last night in a way he would not have been able to if Zion was there.
So much talk about shoes yesterday. Puma tweeted. Yeah, Puma tweeted after the injury. Wouldn't it have happened in the Pumas? They've deleted that tweet.
Hey, brands, don't use a player's injury, especially a 19-year-old who's not getting paid, as a marketing opportunity.
Yeah.
Like, for sure, don't do that.
Don't do it, period.
Uh-huh.
Really, really don't do it if you're Puma. Now, with all due respect to Puma and Puma athletes, y'all just got back in the game.
Like, you just got here.
Like, you just walked in the door. I get it. You get in the yard and you go after the biggest dog. Dude, chill. Zion Williamson still has a $100 million Nike contract coming for him. And my guess is you won't even get a meeting after this tweet.
No, Puma basketball doesn't make Nike's rounding error. Like,
right.
It's like, all right, like, don't exploit a 19-year-old's injury for your gain.
Someone did this before. I feel like
Darren Ravel.
Oh my gosh, Darren Ravel has tweeted about Nike for like 12 straight hours now.
It's been unbelievable.
Derrick Rose was an Adidas guy, right?
Yeah.
I
still is.
Nike didn't tweet anything about Derrick Rose's injury, but a high-ranking person, his personal account, tweeted something along the lines of that wouldn't have happened in Nikes or that wouldn't have happened in something after one of Derrick Rose's first injuries. Like, I think it was after his first ACL injury, the one that, like, everybody was mourning.
Right.
I think, again, it wasn't Nike's account, but it was a high-ranking person in Nike who tweeted it from his personal account, and Nike had to put out a statement like, "Nah, man, we're not about that. Like, we've reprimanded the individual. We're not about that. That's our thoughts are with Derrick Rose," or something like that.
If Zion's shoes kept coming untied, or if he had to change his shoes 4 times because they were uncomfortable, like, okay, then you might want to throw a little shot and say, But his shoe broke, and he got hurt.
Yeah.
Like, let's chill. Let's relax.
He maybe he should have gotten the shoe that Nike has now that you have to charge. You have to do a software update to one of the new Nike shoes. If you don't do the software update, they won't self-lace. This is true story.
When do yours arrive?
I did not order these. I did not order the rechargeable Nikes. I did not order that to the tune of $350 a pair. I did not order. I'm not clear what they do. I saw De'Aaron wearing them during warm-ups several weeks ago. Warm-ups isn't the time before a game to ask, like, hey, D, what do those shoes do? Because I know it comes with the charging cable. Like, you got the little USB port on the back. I'm curious what exactly they do. And I know that they're supposed to measure, like, verticals and speed and all of that different stuff. But, like, apparently I can go, like, hey, Siri, tie my shoe, and it'll lace my shoes for me. It's awesome.
Hey, Siri, tie my shoe.
Nope, Siri's not interested in tying your shoe. Siri, from what I heard, Siri's not interested in doing anything that you're asking her to do. We'll step out. We'll come back. How confident are you that the Kings will make the playoffs? We asked you over on Facebook. We've got some great responses already. We'll share that with you next.
The Drive, The Lowdown, Grant and Doug, and Game Night.
That's the play of this ball game thus far.
One place gives you the Sacramento Kings coverage you want and need.
Hammer time!
Sports 1140 KHTK is your home for the Sacramento Kings.
Mama, I'm so cold.
With winter weather hitting us in full force, our top priority is to keep you and your family warm. Right now, Jared Putman is offering a complete heating tune-up for just $89. It's not just a quick glance at your heater, it's a full heating tune-up and safety check. With no overtime charges for nights or weekends, it's a standard J.R. Putman is setting in the industry for reliable, honest, and mom-approved service.
JaredPutman.com. With service so good, you send us to your mom. JaredPutman.com.
Magnolia House Casino is Sacramento's newest and friendliest casino. Yes, Magnolia House is now open in the historic and completely renovated Sheepherders Inn with an award-winning restaurant and all your favorite table games like Easy Baccarat, Pure 21 Blackjack, Pike-Out Poker, 3-Card Poker, and Texas Hold'em. Superior guest service and locally owned, it's Magnolia House Casino, just off the 50 Sunrise exit on Folsom Boulevard in Rancho Cordova. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
New appliances can do wonders for a kitchen. Right now at the Home Depot, they'll also do wonders for a kitchen budget with up to 30% off appliance special buys, like the 4-piece stainless steel Samsung Kitchen Suite, over $2,000 off a fridge, gas range, microwave, dishwasher, all at once, just in time for dinner. Up to 30% off appliance special buys now at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. U.S. only while supplies last. See store for details. Electric range available at extra cost. Valid through February 27th.
24/7, 365. You're up and at 'em every day, so you don't want something like Medicare Part D to slow you down. At Walgreens, we'll take care of your Medicare Part D prescriptions, saving you time and money. Make the switch to Walgreens today and get more by earning 100 balance reward points and save up to $5 on each Medicare Part D prescription when Walgreens is your preferred pharmacy. Walgreens, trusted since 1901. Prescription savings applies to Tier 1 generics when you fill at a preferred versus a non-preferred pharmacy on select plans. Points can't be earned in New York, New Jersey, or Arkansas. Other restrictions and limitations apply.
Men, are you looking for an affordable option to treat erectile dysfunction that won't break the bank? Melrose Pharmacy has the answer. It's called Sildenafil, the same active ingredient in Viagra. Melrose Pharmacy is offering a huge cost savings on this generic 20-milligram tablet. Get 50 tablets for just $100. That's $2 a pill. A prescription from your doctor is required, and we offer free discreet mailing. Call Melrose Pharmacy, 1-844-826-7829, or visit melrosepharmacy.com and cash in on the savings today.
Spring beauty is a breeze with Lancome. For a limited time, customize your 7-piece gift with any $37.50 Lancome purchase at Macy's. Choose one of our signature day and eye cream duos for a fresh-faced glow. Next, choose between a blush or an eye palette. Get a complimentary lip balm, plus a bag, worth up to $131. For an extra $37.50, get even more beauty essentials, only at Macy's.
Ramon, is it true you never leave a text on read? Is it true you answer every fan DM?
Yes.
What about my DM? Is it true Cricket has 4 lines of unlimited data for $100 a month?
Yes.
Can I be one of your 4? I'm a great texter, Ramon, I swear.
Well...
Is it true you're creating your own cologne?
Oh, the emoji.
Can I smell you?
No. Switch to Cricket and get 4 lines of unlimited data for $100 a month. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Unlimited plan only required on all 4 lines. Discount per line varies. Data speed limited to max 3 megabits per second. Video streaming at SD quality. After 22 gigabytes per line per month, Cricket may slow data speeds when the network is busy. Fees, usage, and restrictions apply. Coverage not available everywhere.
This is the Legal Minute with super lawyer Darren Kavanoki, founder of 1-800-NO-CUFFS. On the phone, we have Susan. You got a question for Darren?
Yeah, hi, Darren. What about those field sobriety tests? Do I really have to take them?
These tests are optional, and anything that you do on those roadside gymnastics, all those so-called tests like standing on one leg, touching your nose, saying the alphabet backwards, all of that stuff is designed to help the prosecutor get a conviction in court. But here's the key. It's not just that you can say no, it's how you say no. The best thing to do is to link your saying no to exercising your right to an attorney. So say, I'd love to cooperate, but my lawyer would kill me. And then call 1-800-NO-CUFFS. Hey, thanks so much for the call. If you're ever in trouble, call us at 1-800-NO-CUFFS. Because remember, no one looks good in handcuffs. You know, unless you're into that sort of thing.
Cash Creek 500 slot tournaments every Friday through Monday till March 16th. Top 5 daily scores move on to the finals, where a brand new 2019 Corvette will be given away. Visit cashcreek.com for details.
Sacramento weather brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia. Clear skies today, windy conditions this afternoon with a high of 57.
Get America's best value at Folsom Lake Kia right now, or shop online at folsomlakekia.com. Other dealers may come and go, but Folsom Lake Kia has been your Kia dealer in Sacramento for nearly 20 years. Folsom Lake Kia.
Still a lot we got to get to here today. We've got tickets to see Luke Bryan, by the way. Forgot to mention that as the show got underway. Luke Bryan's going to be at the Lake Tahoe Outdoor Arena at Harvey's on August 25th. We're going to have tickets for you coming up at 7:45. Also, Sam Amick is going to be with us at 8:05, so a lot going on here. Remember, for Luke Bryan, all you got to do, make sure you're with us. 7:45, give us a call, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140, and we'll get you set up to see Luke Bryan in Lake Tahoe. You want to be a part of any of the conversations, you can. You can get us on the Jiffy Lube text line, as many of you already are over here on 44-1140. Some people asking, can Zion sue Nike? No, I mean, I guess he could. That'd be a poor business strategy because I imagine Nike is like hypothetically, worst case scenario, and we're monitoring Twitter pretty closely. Coach K said last night it was a mild knee sprain that Zion Williamson got, but we're looking to see if there's any follow-up diagnosis to what Coach K had to say last night. Worst case scenario, Zion Williamson out for the year. He's still the number 1 overall draft pick, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What did Kyrie play in college?
11
4
games?
minutes.
Yeah. Oh, was it that? Was
No,
it that little?
It was like 11 or 12 or 13.
Yeah, he
games.
didn't play much. Yeah.
He played like less than half a season and was
Right.
the number 1 pick. Harry Giles was a first-round pick. Like, Zion's fine.
Yeah. But where Harry Giles went versus where Zion Williamson is going to go.
Right, absolutely. But
But the point is, he's still the number 1 pick. He's still getting a righteous deal from a shoe company out there. More than likely Nike, as he has the built-in relationship with them already through Duke, and he's the guy. Like, he is the guy, and Nike is going to pay a ton of money to keep him, or to get him, I should say.
He's not. I promise that Zion's not going to go, you know what, I'm going to do this guy now.
Yeah.
Like, that's not.
I mean, these you know, again, relationships are built in. Whatever contact he's had with Nike so far, who knows? Coach K, he's got a pretty good relationship with Nike.
He does all right.
As does Duke basketball. So the only question will be, will Jordan want him? Because Jordan gets, hey, Nike will go, hey, we want this guy, and Jordan will step in and go, yeah, same. So let's work it out here first, and then if we're not able to come to an agreement, you can roll with Nike there. So we'll talk more about Zion Williamson in the 7 o'clock hour. We'll talk more about your Sacramento Kings as well as the NBA season. I hate saying the second half of the NBA season. The second part of the NBA season gets underway tonight. There are 6 games to pay attention to. Actually, there's only a handful of games to pay attention to. There are 6 games overall, but there are some good ones. The Bucks and the Celtics play tonight. The Rockets and the Lakers play tonight. James Harden, will his streak of, was it 31 now? 31 games of 30-plus points. Will that streak continue tonight? LeBron James has activated playoff mode. What does that mean for the rest of the Los Angeles Lakers? That's true. It's what happened.
Just sounds ridiculous.
Does he step into a chamber? Like, does LeBron have a voice guy that just, like, follows him around and, like, LeBron steps out of the pool or steps out of the, like this chamber, playoff mode activated?
Yeah, I think he drinks some red wine and listens to some Future and throws on like a wave cap and he's ready to go.
Solid. He's sitting
based on his Instagram. That's how it goes.
Sitting around drinking a 20-year-old Pinot or something.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm going to do?
This is my playoff activation.
I'm going to activate this. This isn't Pinot, man. This is the blood. This is the blood of playoff past.
That's what actually happened to his hand last year. He didn't hit a chalkboard. He had sacrificed some of his blood into his bottle.
That's what it was.
To activate playoff mode the next year.
But do you drink the blood from bad playoffs? Because it didn't go well for them last year.
Yeah, it still counts.
Do you only drink the blood from the championship years?
Oh, I don't know. I've never been to the playoffs, so my
There's
playoff
no
mode.
playoff- there's no
my playoff
activated
mode's always
Kyle?
activated.
If your playoff mode is always activated, and you've never been to the playoffs, there is a problem with the activation process.
No, it's just a
You need a
long
software
process.
update. You need a software update like those shoes, like Nike's new shoes. You need an upgrade. Imagine if Zion was wearing that new rechargeable $350 shoe last night.
That would have been tough.
As opposed to just like he was wearing, it was a Nike, it was a Paul George joint. Does somebody ask Paul George tomorrow about Zion Williams wearing his shoe?
Definitely.
And it blowing out
Definitely.
on television?
That's for sure getting asked.
It's got to, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I think it's a dumb question, but you have to ask.
Yeah, you do. I mean, you can't ask them about the game the night before. Like, they haven't played in over a week. They're going to play tomorrow night. You can ask them about Russell Westbrook's triple-double streak, James Harden's scoring streak, and about Zion Williamson blowing out his shoe.
I think that's it. Also, sneaky good game tonight, Blazers at Nets.
Yeah.
I think that's a sneaky fun game.
I agree. That's a league pass game. That's a little harder to find, I think.
Yeah.
But the Bucks and the Celtics national television, the Lakers and the Rockets national television, and, of course, the Kings and the Warriors. We asked you, how confident are you that the Sacramento Kings will make the playoffs? We'll talk about that. We'll talk a ton of NBA. We'll talk with Sam Amick at 8:05. We're just getting started here. It's Damien Barling sitting in for Carmichael Dave on The Drive.
Sports 1140 KHTK. We do sports.
Push the tempo, gives it inside, going around. Oh, boy, Marvin Bagley, welcome to Sacramento with a nasty left-hand rip.
The future is now.
Grabbed by Bagley, put back, Marvin Bagley the third. Look at the snarl on his face, and look at the reaction of Kings fans.
Sports 1140 KHTK, your home of the Kings.
Carmichael Dave, you know I always love talking about my good friends up at Hoblet Ram. The only thing I like more is when Galen, the general manager, comes down to tell me himself what's going on for Ram Truck Month. What's going on, Galen?
Hey, Dave, thanks for having me. Hey, we have a huge sale going on the 18s. They all must go. We have up to 18 grand off on our 1500s. On our heavy duties, we have up to 16 grand off, Dave. It's a huge truck month sale.
Galen, if I want hassle and pressure, am I going to get that at Hoblet Ram?
No way, David.
No hassle, no pressure ever. Just 7 minutes from the airport, right there in Woodland. And remember, they are the #1 Ram truck dealer in all of California. That's Hoblet Ram, the only Ram truck center in the Sacramento Valley, a full-service Ram dealership, full heavy-duty truck service. 1,500 vehicles in stock. 1,200 of them are Ram trucks. Just check them out online at hobletdodge.com. Go up there, say hi to Galen, and you tell him Carmichael Dave sent you.
Sacramento, D.C. here for Beck's Furniture and Sleep. Sacramento born and raised, Sacramento proud, being locally owned for 50 years. That lets you know how they operate. That means no games pricing. Beck shops the market so you don't have to. Factory direct, which means from the factory to Beck's directly to your home. Visit them today. Tell them DC sent you. BecksFurniture.com.
Beck's Furniture.
Big savings are yours now during the President's Day event on now at Maida Subaru Sacramento. Right now at Maida Subaru Sacramento, lease a new 2019 Outback 2.55 or new 2019 Forester, just $159 a month. Yep, drive away in a new 2019 Outback or Forester, just $159 a month. And there's 5 of each to choose from. Or choose 0% APR financing on select models. And your first year's maintenance is included with every new Maida Subaru.
On approved credit, 36 monthly payments plus tax. 0% on Outback, Outback ADB01, IS 301615. Forester KFB02, $39.99 drive off, less tax, license, stock fee, and first payment due at signing. 10,000 annual miles, 15 cents per excess mile. No security deposit.
New Outback or Forester, $159 a month. You choose, you save at Maida Subaru Sacramento. MaidaSubaru.com. Over 300 new and certified pre-owned Subarus available. Maida Subaru. Simple, sincere, transparent.
Made a great deal at Maida.
I'm Craig Ashton of the injury law firm of Ashton & Price. When you call Ashton & Price, you'll make these great discoveries. You'll always be greeted by a real-life person. You will always meet with an experienced attorney. You'll be introduced to the best healthcare providers in the region, and we deal with the insurance companies, so you can focus on the most important thing, getting back your health. Over the last 22 years, we have a history of proven results. No one likes being injured, but we promise you will love Ashton & Price. Consultation is free, and you pay no fee unless you win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
It's the final days of Toyota's President's Day sales event. The deals you've been waiting for are here, but these offers simply cannot last. Get to your Toyota dealer by land, by air, by sea. It doesn't matter how you get here, just get here. It's your last chance to get $500 lease bonus cash on 21 Toyotas like Highlander, Camry, Corolla, Tacoma, and 4Runner. Lease bonus cash is available through TMNA and must be applied to lease transaction. Excludes TRD Pro. Offer ends 2/28/19. Toyota, let's go places.
Cars that sound like this. Trust Pennzoil Synthetics to protect their engines in extreme conditions. Top racing teams know that Pennzoil Synthetics give them the performance to help them succeed. And your car's engine deserves the same. Because your daily commute is no less important. Get complete protection for top engine performance, just like the pros. Go to Pennzoil.com/oil change offer to save. Terms apply.
Indeed knows it's hard to find qualified candidates when you're hiring.
It's like finding a unicorn.
But when you post your job on Indeed, it's easy to find people with the skills you need.
Nurse practitioner, 4+ years experience, acute care certification.
Indeed has a huge pool of amazing candidates and screener tools that help you find your most qualified applicants.
Whoa, an entire short list of unicorns.
Now, get a $50 credit to give your first job posting premium placement at Indeed.com/credit. Terms, conditions, quality standards, and usage limits apply. Additional terms online.
Broadcasting from the Sacramento Republic FC studios. KHTK AM and HD. KNCI HD3 Sacramento. This is Sports 1140 KHTK. We do sports. Now, your Sports 1140 KHTK update. Brought to you by J.R. Putman Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
This is Kyle Madson with your top stories on Sports 1140. The Zion Williamson show lasted only 36 seconds last night at Cameron Indoor Stadium. The star forward for Duke blew out a shoe and injured his knee in the first minute of number 1 Duke's 88-72 loss to number 8 North Carolina. Coach K called the injury a, quote, mild knee sprain, and a timeline for Williamson's return is unknown. And the NBA is back tonight. The Kings open their final 25-game stretch in Oakland against the Warriors. Warriors center DeMarcus Cousins will be without a minutes restriction for the first time since his return from an Achilles injury back in January. Our coverage on Sports 1140 begins with game night at 6. Kings Live is at 7, and tip-off is set for 7:30. Those are your top stories, and now it's time for the second hour of the drive with Damien filling in for Dave on Sports 1140 KHTK.
And I thank you so much for joining me here this morning, along with Kyle Madson and Jay Marshall, our executive producer on the live stream. Of course, you can watch the show on KHTK.com, and I'm secure enough to say and mean the live stream is a lot less interesting without Jason Ross here. Jason will be back with us on Monday when we go back to the Lowdown at 12 o'clock. And the Lowdown Live will debut on Friday at noon. Same regular radio show, but available now with the cameras on KHTK.com. Carmichael Dave will be back with you Monday morning at 6 a.m. Plenty to talk about here. This hour, Sam Amick is going to join us at 8:05. 7:45, we got tickets for you to see Luke Bryan. We got to talk about Le'Veon Bell and the Pittsburgh Steelers here in just a few moments, because while they've come to, verbal agreements that they're going to trade Antonio Brown, we've gotten another confirmation that Le'Veon Bell will not be back with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I think there was a little bit of question as to whether they would use a transition tag on him or some sort of franchise tag on him. They've decided they're going to do neither, and Le'Veon Bell will finally be a unrestricted free agent. We'll talk about what good fits are out there for him over the next couple of days, and we'll talk about the Steelers here in just a heartbeat. I want to get to this Facebook question straight from the mind of Kyle Madson. It's a good one. How confident are you that the Sacramento Kings will make the playoffs? Of course, the second part of the Sacramento Kings season begins tonight against the Golden State Warriors in Oakland, and some of these responses have been pretty interesting. The one that caught my attention, Earl Jr., he wrote this, and I feel like we've seen a variation of this before. Earl wrote over on the Lowdown Facebook page, not very competent. Super pumped the Kings have made it this far, and 40 wins is a win in my book. They will definitely see the playoffs next year. Okay, that's fine. This is what gets me right here, because we've heard this before, and I'm always left scratching my head over it. I would rather see them in next year without struggling than this year and probably get blown out as an 8 seed. What's the point in the playoffs if you ain't making a run at a championship? So, Earl, we appreciate the response. We appreciate everybody's response here on the Lowdown Facebook page. Lots of interaction. That conversation doesn't end when the show ends. That conversation continues all throughout the day, and sometimes it continues for several days. But my question to Earl is, don't you just want to get there when you haven't been there for 13 years, even if it's an 8 seed, and they could very well be a 7 seed? Hell, we looked at the standings in the first hour. They could be a 6 seed if all things go well for them. And what's the point in the playoffs if you ain't making a run at a championship? Man, there is one team right now in the Western Conference that's making a run at a championship. One. It's not Houston, no. I love Oklahoma City. No. There's one right now. And this belief that the Sacramento Kings are easily going to get in next year is absurd. Why is it absurd? Well, look at the Minnesota Timberwolves. Minnesota Timberwolves ended their playoff drought last season and are in danger of starting another one this year. So, no, I don't subscribe to the theory that, they're going to be so much better next year. They're going to coast into the playoffs. Like, who do you think the Sacramento Kings are going to be next year? Oklahoma City? Houston? Portland? Who do you think that they're going to be to where they're not going to struggle to get in the playoffs?
The trajectory certainly says that they will be further into the playoff race this time next year.
Mm-hmm.
But that assumes everything goes right. Like they are a couple of losses away here to start. They have a tough stretch.
They've stolen a couple of games.
Sure.
Let's not forget that.
They have this brutal 5-game stretch to open the second half, and if they lose 5 of those or 4 of them, like they're suddenly way out of the playoff race. I think next year the trajectory certainly says that they'll be in a better spot than that. But the fact remains that if let's say they get the 8th seed this year, they've put themselves in a position, while the chances may be astronomical, they've put themselves in a real-world position to make a run.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't make the playoffs, that's not the case. There are 0 chances they win a title if they don't make the playoffs, and those chances increase tenfold if they do.
Okay.
Which is my argument for if
my only counter to that would be, we can talk about trajectory, but I think the Minnesota Timberwolves example still fits. We could, it's a bit of a stretch. The Timberwolves example is the best, but couldn't we use Utah as an example too? Wasn't Utah the be-all, end-all to young and upcoming teams just last season?
Yeah.
They started terribly and went on a fantastic run that's put them in a pretty good spot right now, but they're 32-25. They're not lighting the world on fire. There were people who thought Utah would be basically what Denver is. Denver made a huge jump from missing the playoffs on the last day of the regular season to being a team that has sat on top of the Western Conference for a bulk of the year and are now sitting comfortably in the second spot of the Western Conference.
I guess I just don't understand the rationale of, even if I agree with what you're saying, but even if that wasn't the case, even if you guaranteed, like, yeah, the Kings are going to make the playoffs next year, why would you not want to make it this year?
Yeah, I don't understand that line of thinking.
That doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, I don't understand that line of thinking at all. But, I mean, I appreciate the response, again, on the Facebook page. I just don't understand why you would not want to just get in the playoffs. Let De'Aaron get that playoff experience. Yeah. Let Buddy get that playoff experience. Let the whole roster get that playoff experience. Let Dave Yeager get it. Let Vlade Divac get it. Let the people at the Golden One Center get playoff experience.
They've played the Warriors 3 times this year and lost by a combined 8 points.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, why would you not want to face that team in a 7-game series?
Yeah.
Why not give them a run?
Eric Goodman says, confidence scale 1 to 10, I'm about 7.5. I think these first 4 to 5 games after the break will be a telltale sign. I'm just imagining the Doku area in the springtime if they make it. It's on and cracking, says Eric Goodwin. Yeah, no question about that. And I think that's what we're all waiting for. By the way, did you see Big Boy is going to be at Wednesday's game? The Bucks and the Bucks and the Cowboys, for goodness sakes. The Bucks and the Sacramento Kings have joined together for a program, a movement called Time for a Change. And it ties in with the Build Black organization. It ties in with some of the social initiatives that each team has had separately. They're collectively doing something when the Bucks come to visit next week. And Big Boy of Outkast is going to be a part of that, and he's going to be performing at halftime at the Golden One Center. So if you weren't already going to see the Greek Freak on Wednesday, now you could come see the Greek Freak and Big Boy.
For me, it's Big Boy, then Giannis.
That's fine.
In that order.
That's fine. Reggie Lee over here on the Facebook says the Kings have been activated for the playoffs. Kings have been activated for the playoffs. So
Playoff Kings have been activated.
Playoff Kings have been activated. Brian Murphy says, I'm as confident as Damien is after he steps out of a 4-hour workout. Brian
so
Murphy,
like a 15 out of 10.
Brian, you are a loyal follower, man. We much appreciate that. The Steelers are going to look a little bit different this year. They have, and if you, again, conversation continues all throughout the show and well after the show ends. You can head over to Facebook. As soon as you get to the office, get settled, you decide you don't want to do any work, go to social media, go to Facebook, search the lowdown, and tell us, how confident are you that the Kings will make the playoffs? Antonio Brown has come to an agreement with the Pittsburgh Steelers to make his way out of Pittsburgh. And now, apparently, the Pittsburgh Steelers have made the decision that Le'Veon Bell will no longer be a part of their team. Their dopey general manager, Kevin Gobert, says Le'Veon is still a great player. We just can't afford to use any other type of tags on him. Le'Veon will be an unrestricted free agent at the start of the new league year, which is just a couple of weeks away. Le'Veon Bell took to Twitter later on Wednesday to rejoice, quoting the great Dr. Martin Luther King, "Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, I'm free at last."
Good for Le'Veon.
Pittsburgh Steelers will likely receive a compensatory pick in the 2020 draft. Probably could be as high as a third-round selection. Of course, the Pittsburgh Steelers are more than comfortable with Jalen Samuels and James Conner after the way that they performed in Le'Veon Bell's year-long holdout last year. Le'Veon will turn 27 on Monday and is due for the most important payday of his career.
Yeah, I think he might be a little bit disappointed by what the open market looks like. But
I think that's a great question. What will the open market look like for Le'Veon Bell, a guy who was supposed to make $14.5 million last year and decided he didn't want that? That did not give him the long-term security that he was requesting. But he is the most. You could argue you could make a fair argument that the most dynamic running back and the most dynamic wide receiver are on the market at the same time in the same offseason. What Le'Veon Bell's market is, I have no idea. We'd probably have to gauge that against Todd Gurley's contract that he got from the Los Angeles Rams just a couple of right before this season started, I think.
Yep.
And I think we'd have to go from there.
Yeah, so Gurley's contract was 4 years, $60 million with $45 guaranteed. If Le'Veon's looking for
But was it really 4 years, or was it was it they have the option to just get rid of him after 3 and the guarantee is still 40? Because $10 million per year, you said 4 years, 40 guaranteed. Ultimately, what we're talking about is $10 million per year for Todd Gurley, and that if it's a guaranteed he's locked in for 4 years, man, that's not the most dynamic look for Le'Veon Bell here moving forward. Because remember, he walked away from 14.5, believing he was worth closer to 17 to 20.
Yeah, 4 years, $57.5 million for Todd Gurley, with $45 million in total guarantees. There's an out in the deal in 2022.
That's the third year of the deal. To me, that makes more sense. The 3 year 45 as opposed to the 4 year 45. Because he's getting the full $45 million guaranteed whether he plays in that option year or not, or whether the team declines his option or whoever's option that is. See, this is the difficulty with NFL contracts, is the way they're reported is so fake. Like you just heard Kyle say, it's a 4 year, $50-some-odd million contract. No, it's not. It's probably a 3 year, $45 million contract, because a lot of times Joe Flacco still has several years left on his deal with the Baltimore Ravens. But no one cares, especially Baltimore, because he's not owed anything. He has no guaranteed dollars left. So whatever deal he's going to sign, I assume at least, he's going to sign some sort of deal with the Denver Broncos moving forward that's going to completely restructure his contract.
But is Le'Veon Bell, 27-year-old Le'Veon Bell, going to go get $60 million guaranteed or $50 million guaranteed or whatever?
For 3 years? I think so. I think he could. For 2 to 3 years. I'd pay Le'Veon Bell I'd give Le'Veon Bell 2 and 40. 2 years,
I don't know
$40
if he'll
million.
take that.
Really? That's $20 million guaranteed for both years?
Oh, so fully guaranteed.
Fully guaranteed. Get the Kirk Cousins treatment.
Wow.
But just 2 years. So you get your guarantee, you get 40, you get above market value, but just for 2 years. Then he's 29. Then you're just going to have to deal with the laws of the NFL as they have been relayed to us about running backs falling off of the face of the earth once they approach the age of 30. We have joked all morning about LeBron James' playoff activation. You'll hear from him, the Lakers and the Rockets, and more of your responses as to how confident you are the Kings will make the playoffs.
Sports 1140 KHTK has made your mornings even better. Check out The Drive every morning on KHTK.com to not only hear the show, but to see the show as well. The Drive is now video streaming every morning from 6 to 9 on KHTK.com. All presented by the Sacramento Republic FC and by Jiffy Lube.
I'm a real person, real voice, and a real face. Even though you can't see it because, radio invisibility. You know what else is super duper real? Geico Local Offices. A Geico Local agent could tailor-fit a policy to you, which could save you hundreds on your car insurance. All because Geico Local agents keep it real, with real savings and real service. Really.
And there's more. A Geico Local agent could help you with more than just auto policies, like motorcycle, boat, and RV insurance. Stop by or give them a call today.
Washing my nose, oh yeah.
I'm a shower curtain, and I do one thing, keep water from leaking everywhere. So you see why I feel useless compared to Geico, who does so much more. Like, not only could Geico save you money, but they've been around for over 75 years. And they give you 24/7 access online, over the phone, or on the Geico app. And they've got a 97% customer satisfaction rating. They do all this while I have to listen to this chucklehead. Oh, good, he stopped.
Washing my toes.
Oh, great, an encore.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
This is Brandon Tierney with a CBS Sports Minute sponsored by Glassdoor. Find the right fit for your business at glassdoor.com/hire. Probably didn't think the Padres were going to cough up $300 million for Manny Machado, did you? You know who wanted Machado? The White Sox wanted him. They reportedly offered in the neighborhood of $300 million as well, but he spurned that offer to go to San Diego. So they still have money to spend. Here's how they should spend it. Take the $300 million and disperse it in a bunch of different spots. Dallas Keuchel will give you 3 years plus an option. Craig Kimbrell, here's 2 years for $20 million a pop. Marwin Gonzalez will give you 4 years, $65 million. Adam Jones will give you Andrew McCutchen money, 3 years, $50 million. And we already have Jose Abreu as the mainstay DH. And you look at the division, if this ever happened. The Tigers stink, the Royals stink, the Twins stink. Your only competition's the Indians. White Sox, join the party, mix it up, make it really interesting. I'm BT.
At McDonald's, we're about making mornings from NorCal to Central Valley brighter. If the 99 has your commute at a standstill, an Egg McMuffin and a Sausage McMuffin with egg will put a smile on your face. And if your day on the farm can't start without some goodness, an Egg McMuffin and a hot McCafe coffee will be a delicious helping hand. Get either an Egg McMuffin or Sausage McMuffin with egg and an any size hot McCafe coffee for $4. Or mix and match 2 of these sandwiches for $4. Single item at regular price. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
It's easy to hit refresh with an ice-cold, any-size Coke or sweet tea for just $1 at McDonald's. See what I mean? Hit refresh anytime with any size Coke or sweet tea for just $1 on the $1, $2, $3 menu at McDonald's. It'll go perfectly with the food you crave.
Like a cheesy double cheeseburger or crispy 6-piece chicken McNuggets for only $2 each. Price and participation may vary. For a limited time. Cannot be combined with any other offer or any combo meal.
Sacramento Weather Report is brought to you by Von Hausen Motor Group. Clear skies today with a high of 57 and some gusty wind this afternoon.
It's the Von Hausen Spring into Mercedes-Benz event. Drive a 2018 GLC 300 SUV, former courtesy loaner, just $35,976. Offered is pre-owned. Hi, I'm Kelly Brothers. Visit us today at vonhausen.com and at Mercedes-Benz of Sacramento, Mercedes-Benz of Rockland, or Mercedes-Benz of El Dorado Hills.
Make sure you check us out on all of our different social media platforms. You can find me, Damien Barling, across all social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Jason Ross, 1140. Cody Baylor, at Cody. That's Cody with an I. Cody Baylor across all social media platforms as well. I would plug Kyle Madson's Twitter account. That's a dangerous, dangerous place to be.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, but it can be a lot of fun at times, too.
Thanks, man.
Hey,
really
you know what would be
that.
good right now at 7:15 in the morning, 7:18 in the morning to be exact? How about some fire wings?
I couldn't agree more, Damien. They have 21 delicious flavors to choose from. I'm sure you could find something that tastes good in the morning. They have a Nashville Fire Chicken Sandwich as well. Find the location nearest you at firewings.com. That's Firewings. Just wing it.
You want to watch the show today, you can head over to khdk.com. As we mentioned a little bit earlier, I'm secure enough to mention that the live version of the Lowdown here in the morning on khdk.com is significantly less interesting without the king of the live stream here, though I do have a nice picture of him to keep me company here in the studio. I have Chris Verlaud's T-shirts all over the place. I have Cody Baylor hanging behind me. So we've tried to decorate the studios just a little bit to make sure it's friendly for the live stream. More social media response here, more Facebook response as to how confident you are that the Kings will make the playoffs. We'll get to that in just a little bit. You had mentioned Fire Wings. Let's go to the Fire Wings hotline, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Quick reminder, tickets to see Luke Bryan are coming up at 7:45, and Sam Amick of The Athletic is going to join us at 8:05. Good morning, Jerry. Great to hear from you.
Hey, good morning, guys. Top of the day.
Indeed.
It'll make you sing. It'll make your ears ring. It's Fire Wings. I'm winging it.
Wow. Totally unpaid endorser right here from Jerry. I like it.
Hey, I think the Kings got a 1-3 chance. And my reasoning is, first, I think if they go 13-12, they got a chance. They got to hope the Clippers go 10-15 or something like that. And then they got to hope that LeBron throws his shoe or something like that. And I'd love to see them make the playoffs. Any playoff experience that they get, like Grant explained to me, is better than no playoff experience. But I think we got a good chance, 1-3.
I like it. Appreciate you, Jerry, and I completely agree with you that any playoff experience, even if it's 4 games, is well worth it for this version of the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah, if they play a game over 500 the rest of the way, that puts them at 43 wins. I don't know if that'll be enough.
Yeah.
46 feels like the number.
That's kind of the fun game here with the Western Conference playoff picture, is trying to determine what number of wins is going to get a team into the playoffs. Right now, you look at Utah. You could go out, man. You could really just look from Oklahoma City down. Oklahoma City's 37-20. They're sitting comfortably in the 3rd seed. There's a little bit of conversation as to whether Oklahoma City would be able to jump Denver there in the 2nd spot. But you start looking at the wins from 4 on down, and you got 34, 33, 32. San Antonio has 33 wins. The Clippers have 32 wins. And then you have the Sacramento Kings there with 30 and the Los Angeles Lakers with 28. What's the number that gets you into the playoffs? 13 more wins, 43. It's above 500. It's 40. Was that a 43-39 record? It all depends on where the Clippers, Lakers, and Spurs are.
And the Kings have to finish a game ahead of the Clippers.
Correct.
Because the Clippers have the tiebreaker. The Clippers have math. This is tough. 23 games left. So let's say the Kings do go 13-12. That means the Clippers have to go 11-12 the rest of the way. No, 10-13 the rest of the way. And the Lakers, they also have 25 games left. They would need to go 14-11.
You know what's difficult about this, too, is because so many people are spending time looking at, like, strength of schedules. Yeah, who the most difficult opponents are and all of that stuff. But then you also start looking at, like, okay, what do the Pelicans think in the final few weeks of the season? Like, how are they approaching this season? We already know they don't want Anthony Davis to play. They're basically publicly petitioning the league to allow them to sit Anthony Davis. So we know where their mind is at moving forward. What about the Memphis Grizzlies? The Memphis Grizzlies spent the first 2 months of the season in the top 4 of the Western Conference. They've spent the last 2 months of the season in the bottom 2 of the Western Conference. Does Phoenix shut anybody down in those final weeks? Are they looking to gain just on-court experience? Are they looking to sit Devin Booker out so nothing happens to him again? How does a team like the Dallas Mavericks approach the season? And then you can go over to the Western Conference, or the Eastern Conference, and run through the Chicagos and the Clevelands and New Yorks and what their approach to the season is going to be. I don't know that the Kings have a game against Washington left, but what will they be looking at as the season starts to wrap up here? So the approach, for the Kings and the Clippers, well, I take that back. The approach for the Kings and the Lakers is very, very clear. We don't know exactly what the approach for the Los Angeles Clippers is going to be, just like we don't know what the approach for, like this happened a couple of years ago when the Kings, Scala Sierra was playing really well and they were having a decent push at the end of the regular season. And we tried to warn people like, hey, don't read too much into that because a whole lot of teams have shut down. Now the Kings have the opportunity to benefit from teams that might be shutting things down a little bit early.
Yeah, and they have to win those games. If a team is trying to lose, the Kings have to beat them. They don't have a ton of margin for error down the stretch here. And if that's going to be the case where they're playing these sub 500 teams who are effectively tanking,
yeah,
those are absolute must-win games.
Well, LeBron's not taking. He is fully activated. Playoff mode is activated. You'll hear where that running joke came from coming up in just a couple of minutes. We'll talk about the Lakers and the Rockets. that game tonight. We'll talk about all 6 games tonight. Sam Amick is going to join us, and Zion Williamson. That's the big story here today. He plays just 36 seconds in the Duke, North Carolina game. And the hot topic today, the NCAA, once again, should Zion Williamson shut it down? We'll talk about that as the drive continues here on Sports 1140 KHTK.
The Drive, The Lowdown, Grant and Doug, and Game Night.
That's the play of this ball game thus far.
One place gives you the Sacramento Kings coverage you want and need.
Hammer time!
Sports 1140 KHTK is your home for the Sacramento Kings.
Hey, it's Vince Bloom, the big guy at Lashes Oak Grove Dodge. You know we're celebrating Chuck Month this month because the weather's warming up and it's time to get out into the great outdoors. It's also the perfect time to save on trucks at Oak Grove Dodge because they're all on sale. Ram 1500s, 2500s, Tradesmen, Laramies, Bighorns. And I mean save big. Like $19,000 off MSRP on a new 2019 Ram 1500 SLT Classic Bighorn Crew Cab Hemi. 4x2 or 4x4. I've got over 100 in stock and they're all over 30% off MSRP. That's end of year type savings and it's only February. Save up to $19,000 off MSRP on over 100 new 2019 Ram 1500 SLT Classic Bighorn Crew Cab Hemis, 4x2s and 4x4s. Only during Truck Month and only at Lashes Oak Grove Dodge. For over 60 years, our name means a great deal. In the Oak Grove Auto Mall and online at oakgrovedodge.com.
Includes $12,000 in California, BC retail consumer 2019 retail bonus Chrysler Capital Conquest and select inventory cash. Must finance through Chrysler Capital on approved credit. Customer must have leased their competitive brand vehicle for at least 30 days. Sample VIN 554632 ends 2/28/19.
Sources confirm that the invasion began on a Sunday 2 months ago when Bill and Shirley Riley listed their home on the market. This beautiful, sprawling 2,600...
Oh, Gary, it's you. Hurry, get in here.
Everything okay, Bill?
Okay. No, everything is not okay.
What's wrong?
The visitors, Gary. They keep coming. Mornings, afternoons, even during dinner. They want to look at the house, Gary. They won't stop. All I do is vacuum. And then as soon as everything is spotless, it all starts over.
Cookies. That sounds terrible. We just sold directly to Open Door instead. It was super easy. Susan typed in our address, answered a few questions, and we got a great offer. The Open Door folks were real helpful.
They're here, Gary.
That's cool, man. I'm gonna go. Check out opendoor.com/sold, Bill. Skip the open houses and the visitors and get a competitive offer within 48 hours. Open Door is represented by Open Door Brokerage, Inc., a licensed real estate brokerage in the state of California. License ID number 02061130.
Sacramento, D.C. here for Beck's Furniture and Sleep. Sacramento born and raised, Sacramento proud, being locally owned for 50 years. That lets you know how they operate. That means no games pricing. Beck shops the market so you don't have to. Factory direct, which means from the factory to Beck's directly to your home. Visit them today. Tell them DC sent you. Beck'sFurniture.com.
Beck's Furniture.
It's awards season. And the winner is... No, not those awards. It's award season at Nissan Now. Nissan earned a headline-making 3 J.D. Power Awards, including Best Midsize Car, Large Car, and Midsize Pickup in Initial Quality. And now get President's Day savings on our full lineup, including Rogue and the all-new Altima, both with available Pro Pilot Assist. Plus, save big on the powerful Titan. Shop your local Nissan store and choose Nissan.com today.
Get 0 down, 0 payments for 90 days, and 0% financing for up to 60 months on the 2019 Nissan Rogue.
Don't run out of time. Hurry to Nissan now.
For well-qualified buyers, $1,667 per month per thousand finance for 60 months. The delayed payment must begin exactly 90 days from the date of the contract. No security deposit required. Must finance through NMAC and take delivery from new dealer stock. Call 1-888-858-8319 for offer details. For J.D. Power 2018 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Ends 2/28/19.
There's a place where actions speak louder. Jackpots echo throughout. And the thrill of it all is thunderous. Thunder Valley Casino Resort, where more than 3,000 slots, 100 table games, all new bingo and poker rooms blend with award-winning dining. And AAA Ford Diamond Luxury. Winning big makes a sound all its own. Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Live out loud.
Toyota's President's Day sales event. Get $500 lease bonus cash on Camry and lease for just $219 a month, or get $1,000 cash back. It's the final days of Toyota's President's Day sales event. Ends 2/28/19. Toyota. Let's go places.
Sacramento weather brought to you by Sutter Health. Clear skies today with some gusty wind this afternoon and a high of 57. Brought to you by Sutter Medical Foundation. Connect with a doctor who inspires your best health with primary care and same-day care options, including video visits. The Sutter Network has care to fit your every need. More at sutterhealth.org/primary care.
Now, your Sports 1140 KHTK update. Brought to you by J.R. Putman Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
Hey, it's Kyle Madson with your top stories on Sports 1140. The Zion Williamson show, I can't get that right, but I will eventually. Last night at Cameron Indoor Stadium lasted only 36 seconds. Duke star forward blew out a shoe and injured his knee in the first minute of number 1 Duke's 88-72 loss to number 8 North Carolina. Coach K called the injury, quote, a mild knee sprain, and a timeline for Williamson's return is unknown. And the NBA is back tonight. The Kings open their final 25-game stretch in Oakland against the Warriors. Warriors center DeMarcus Cousins won't have a minutes restriction for the first time since his return in January from an Achilles injury that he suffered last season. Our coverage on Sports 1140 begins with game night at 6. Kings Live is at 7. Tip-off a little later than normal tonight with set for 7:30. Those are your top stories. And now it's back to the drive with Damien filling in for Dave on Sports 1140 KHTK.
Greatly appreciate you being here with me. Carmichael Dave will be back on Monday at 6 a.m. Jason will be back with me when we go back to the lowdown at 12 o'clock on Monday as well. In the meantime, so happy that you're here. You want to participate in the show, many ways you could do it. Jiffy Lube text line, which has been rolling all morning, 441140. You can also get us on the Fire Wings hotline. Try one of the delicious 21 flavors of wings today. Fire Wings, just wing it, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. We've got tickets to see Luke Bryan coming up in 14 minutes, 7:45 exactly. You give us a call at 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140, and we'll get you set up to see Luke Bryan with special guest John Langston at the Lake Tahoe Outdoor Arena at Harvey's on August 25th. As a reminder, for those that are new to what we do on the lowdown, we give you a specific time to call. You don't have to wait for me to say anything. You don't have to wait for Kyle to say anything. That way, anybody who is watching the live stream on KHTK.com and anybody who is listening online at either KHTK.com or through the KHTK app, you're at no disadvantage to winning these tickets. As many of you listen online know, there is a substantial delay. So if I say, hey, call right now, you're hearing it way too late and you've already lost, and only the people listening on 1140 a.m. have the opportunity to win. And we know how many of you are listening through our streaming services. So at 7:45, as soon as your clock hits that number, you give us a call and we'll get you set up to see Luke Bryan. Plenty of stories going on in the world of sports. Obviously, the biggest one for us here is basketball is back at it tonight. The NBA is back in action, and the game we'll be paying the most attention to are Sacramento Kings. They'll take on the Golden State Warriors. We'll spend a lot of time talking about that here in the upcoming moments. The Warriors are lifting their minutes restriction on DeMarcus Cousins. What does that mean for them? We'll talk about that again in just a few minutes. We asked you a question on Facebook. How confident are you that the Sacramento Kings are going to make the playoffs this year? Great responses so far. Please continue to share them. Again, over on the Lowdown Facebook page. You could check us out. If you're not familiar with that page, just go to Facebook, search the Lowdown. You'll be able to find us. We post questions every single day there. This one straight from the brain of Kyle Madson. Again, how confident are you that the Kings will make the playoffs? And before we get into a deep dive on the Sacramento Kings, we got to talk about what Kyle just mentioned, and that's Zion Williamson going down with a mild knee sprain. As Coach K said there following the game in a moment, 36 seconds into a very high-profile game, a very high-profile rivalry with some very high-profile individuals in attendance, we saw the air let out of Cameron Indoor Stadium, and Zion Williamson goes down with the injury, which started the flood of tweets from NBA players, and it started the hot takes from talking heads all across the world about Zion Williamson and about the NCAA and about paying collegiate athletes, and about how Zion Williamson didn't make a single dollar for his efforts last night. And that started a conversation that it's quite honestly a question that was asked before he was injured. It's a question that's been asked for weeks. Since in last night, it kind of manifested itself. Should Zion Williamson shut the season down and prepare to be the number 1 pick in the NBA draft?
I think so. I would be in favor of high-profile high school recruits like Zion.
Mm-hmm.
If they just said, hey, I'm not going to play a year of college basketball, I'm going to take the year off and train and get myself ready. Because Zion, if he had done that, is still a top 5 pick.
Yep.
I think he worked his way into the number 1 conversation, obviously, by playing in college, but he still would have been top 5 even if he had just worked out the entire year. So if he wants to shut it down, I'm certainly not going to blame him.
Here's playing devil's advocate, and that's kind of what I feel like I'm doing when I'm arguing against him sitting out, which I'm not going to – whatever decision Zion Williamson – and this may not even be a thought in his mind. Whatever decision he makes, like I'm fine with. But I'll note 2 things. One, the injury occurred totally non-contact. Mm-hmm. It was essentially a freak play in which his shoe blew up, and it could happen in a shooting drill. It could happen in a 3-cone drill. It could happen in an empty gym with no one but him and his trainer.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is, barring this being a substantial injury that keeps him from playing moving forward, if you commit to a school, you're only committing for 1 year. I feel like you got to live out that commitment. Because now you're putting Duke and Coach K in a difficult spot where you have to start wondering with these high-level recruits who are going to be – and obviously this is all eliminated when Adam Silver eliminates the one-and-done rule. And
right.
We've been led to believe that that's going to be very soon. The NCAA takes a lot of slack, as they should, because they do a lot of things wrong. The one-and-done rule, that's not an NCAA rule. That is a David Stern rule.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason, in my opinion, that Adam Silver hasn't already overturned it is he didn't want to come in and Donald Trump all of Barack Obama's old policies.
Sure.
That was a rule that David Stern created, and I know because he said as much. He never liked it.
Right.
But he's not going to walk in and immediately throw out what his predecessor did. He's been trying to come up with a more universal solution because the argument has been, well, all of this, it harms the NBA, it harms college basketball. He's trying to come up with alternatives rather than just walking in and completely throwing out the rule.
Right, which is understandable. On the subject of Zion committed to Duke and he has a responsibility to his team and his teammates, he only committed to Duke because he had to.
No, you're right.
Like he's doing this not because he plans on sticking with the program.
Sure.
Like he's doing this because
he can't go to the NBA.
Yeah.
No, I understand, and you're 100% right. But that's the rule for now.
Uh-huh.
And he committed to playing for them this year. So play for them. And unless the injury is keeping you from playing,
sure,
you fulfill your commitment to play for them, even just for this season.
And if that's what he wants to do, and that's what he says, you know what, I'm playing. We have a chance to win a national championship. If I'm going to play a year, that's my goal. I want to win at every stop I make. Great, I'm all about that.
Mm-hmm. What's
been funny is watching on the internet and watching on our morning talking head shows on TV is the like anger that he needs to now sit the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Like, no, he doesn't.
No, he could do
whatever the heck he wants.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I really think if it is a mild knee sprain, he's out for 2 weeks, and then they're like, yeah, you can go. Like, just wanting to make sure it doesn't hurt anymore. I think he's back. I think he comes back.
Yeah, I think he'll play in the tournament.
Me too.
There's no point in putting him any. There's really, barring March 9th, I think is the game at Chapel Hill. Other than that, play him in the tournament. You know what I mean? Like I'd argue you don't even have to pay him in Champ Week. Just play him in the tournament where everybody's going to be watching and everybody cares.
Isn't that a little bit what Michael Porter Jr. did?
Attempted to
Came back late in the year, but he wasn't. He had a back thing that was a little more serious than this.
I feel like maybe they only lasted one game, or maybe we watched him in the conference tournament.
I think that was
it was not. Yeah, there was nothing pretty or sexy about it. By the way, he's on the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah, they're just going to get this. They're just going to get this top 5 talent.
They just keep getting. It's like, wait, there's so many. We had talked all year about how people that we interact with across the league at Sacramento Kings games are really high on the Denver Nuggets. And this is part of the reason why. They just have all-stars and top 5 talents coming off injured reserves at various moments throughout the year, and perhaps in Michael Porter Jr.'s case, it'll be next season.
And they're all like 25 and younger.
Yeah. It's like, hey, we're good here. I'm so fascinated by where Isaiah Thomas is going to fit in because I think Isaiah Thomas provided a huge spark for the Nuggets when they wrapped up the first part of the season against the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah, he was enormous.
And what we know, whether he plays or not, he's a big vocal presence in the locker room. We've been told as much by people who cover the Denver Nuggets. And how does that translate as we get into the crunch time of the season here moving forward?
Yeah, that'll be if he settles into a role with them like the one he played against the Kings where they were down and he comes in and just takes over the scoring and hits a couple of big threes and is the spark plug of their second unit.
Yeah.
I think that's a perfect role for him. But if he is going to want to close games and be playing crunch time minutes and be taking crunch time shots, I don't think you can do that when you have guys like Jokic and Jamal Murray. Will Barton's a player I really like. They just have so many good players. I don't think IT fits into that upper echelon there, but I think that he has a very important role in their second unit.
Cue the lame take guy on the text line.
Atta babe.
Didn't he get a free ride to Duke? Stop saying he doesn't get paid. He does. Nah, see, that's the guy who works at a multi-million-dollar company but makes minimum wage. Zion Williamson's value to Duke is not worthy of a scholarship. It's worthy of like 10 scholarships for the rest of his life and having the court renamed after him. That's Zion Williamson's worth to Duke. You're looking at, stop saying he doesn't get paid. He's getting a free education. Dude, that's not of equal value. That's not the same thing. That's being a stockbroker. That's being a stock trader on Wall Street and getting paid nothing instead of getting paid a commission of what you're earning for all of your clients. Zion Williamson is earning Duke a ton. Somebody paid $10,000 to see Zion Williamson play last night. Barack Obama sat courtside, not to see Duke, not to see North Carolina, to see Zion Williamson. That is his value to Duke, not whatever the cost of a Duke scholarship is.
And here's
for one season.
Right. And that's the whole thing. So it's one semester. They are only going to school because they have to get into the NBA. He's probably not going to use all 4 years of that scholarship, probably. Mm-hmm. And it would be like if you, like you were just saying, that would be like taking whatever that person's pay is at their job and saying, hey, we're not going to give you any money to eat or live, or we're going to give you very minimal for that, but you can go to class. You work this full-time job, you're also going to go to class.
Yeah.
And you're going to make what amounts to like less than minimum wage.
Also, you're going to have to be successful in these classes because if you're not, we're not going to allow you to work for free for us.
Right.
Oh, but they're getting the opportunity to showcase their talent. Zion Williamson was showcasing his talent when he was a sophomore in high school.
Yeah. House of Highlights has been on Zion for 3 years.
For a minute. Like he is like I hate comparing anyone to LeBron James.
Sure.
But in terms of hype, he's the closest. Because I remember LeBron as a sophomore, and then, of course, the Sports Illustrated cover and everything that followed that. That's essentially what Zion Williamson has been. Mm-hmm. He has been in the national spotlight since he was a sophomore in high school, just like LeBron. Now, LeBron exceeded all expectations when he became a pro basketball player, which still is one of the most phenomenal. That's probably his most phenomenal accomplishment, because if you were around when LeBron was entering the league, or when maybe you were at Arco Arena that first game LeBron James played as a professional basketball player,
mm-hmm.
the amount of hype that surrounded him was and is phenomenal. And he surpassed it. Yeah. I just thought at the arena that night, there's no way he's this good. There's no way he is what everyone says he is. And he wasn't. He was substantially better. Even in that first game. even in that first game against a very, very good Sacramento Kings team, it was, oh, okay. No, this guy is the truth.
And let me tell you something about the opportunity and exposure of playing at Duke. Opportunity and exposure don't pay bills.
No, they don't.
FYI.
I would. One more argument I'll make to stay in school, and this is less has to do with fulfilling a commitment and more has to do with what actually might be best for him.
Mm-hmm.
There isn't a shooting coach. There isn't a game situation coach. And quite honestly, there might only be one or two NBA coaches that are better than the one that he has.
Correct.
He'll gain a ton of knowledge just being with Coach K. In my opinion, he will. So what Zion Williamson will do moving forward, we will see. We've got our eyes on Duke Twitter to see if we get any more of a formal update. Coach K told us last night that it was a mild knee sprain for Zion Williamson, though he did acknowledge they are a little bit worried. Of course, when your star player goes down with an injury, you're going to be worried, but there appeared to be, at least according to what we were told last night, there appears to be no structural damage to Zion Williamson's knee. Sam Amick will be with us at 2:05, so make your plans to be with us then. We have been joking about this all morning.
You know, my level of intensity has to be, unfortunately for me, because I don't like to do it at such an early time, I'm a little bit different, but it's been activated, so look forward to seeing what we can do.
His playoff intensity has been activated. I'm curious, a follow-up question for LeBron in that situation would have been, what do you mean you're different? Like, what do you do that's different? I know one thing that he does is he has these moments where he attempts to like manifest into like a superhero or something, where he manifests into something else, like activated LeBron James.
But that's the perception, though, is that, oh, LeBron can flip a switch. Like, I think he's done such a good job of branding himself and marketing himself on the court that he can just turn this switch on at any time and become the best player ever, that when he says it's been activated, people just buy it. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
LeBron's going to start trying. Now the switch is flipped.
Yeah.
Well, he does an amazing job at that.
How about this one?
If I can get into the postseason, whatever team that I got, I feel like we got a good chance. So obviously you want to be playing at a high level going into the postseason and try to ride that wave. So we're looking forward to seeing how well we can play and try to get into the playoffs and ride the momentum of how we play to get there.
I like LeBron. I really do, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for his talent and what he does on the basketball floor every day, but I have said this for the 3 years that we've been doing the lowdown. I don't think I could be LeBron's teammate. Because didn't LeBron just say right there, whatever team I got, we can make the playoffs? I feel like LeBron constantly separates himself from the team. Like, we don't need you to whip it out and measure it, dude. We know you're the man. We see it. We've seen it for a decade and a half. You are the guy. But he's in a constant state of trying to remind us that he is the guy. Like, I got any team that I got, I could take to the playoffs. Like, you're separating yourself from that team. It's LeBron, and then it's everybody else. And then this isn't the first time. He's done it with various Cleveland teams, and I think he did it with Miami when you knew that last year in Miami, particularly that last playoff series, you knew he was out. Like, he was gone. Because he uses language like that. Now, in this situation, he's not gone. Everybody else is gone. And that's my question for the remainder of the season. Is that a preemptive strike by LeBron James to say, hey, it's a little early, but playoff mode is activated? Which means, and Kyle, you posed this question earlier, what happens if the Lakers come out and lose tonight? Well, the answer is easy. The answer is what it always is when a LeBron James team fails. It's everybody else's fault. You just heard LeBron right there. LeBron James, playoff mode, it's activated. Okay, that means if they lose to the Houston Rockets tonight and James Harden's streak of 30-plus becomes 32, well, what'd Ingram do? Is Ingram activated? Is Lonzo activated? What about Kentavious Caldwell-Pope? Did he get the activation gel?
No. Like, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is never activated.
He has no activation. Kyle Kuzma, like, you just run down the line. you know Luke Walton's being fired. Like, Luke Walton is essentially coaching these last 20-some-odd games knowing they can make the playoffs, they can miss the playoffs. His fate has already been sealed. He is being fired.
Unless they win the finals, and even then it's a little iffy.
Right.
His job is done.
He's gone.
I think it would be funny if Kyle Kuzma went on the internet and posted a video of himself Googling, like, how to activate playoff mode. Like, does LeBron give them lessons on activating playoff mode?
That would be great.
Like, here's how to do it? Or is he just leaving his guys high and dry?
Here's how you activate playoff mode. And it's like a cartoon. You know who could do it? Bleacher Report. Bleacher Report makes, I think it's Bleacher Report, right? Who makes the brilliant cartoons?
Yeah.
The Game of Zones video, all of that. Yeah, dude, do a LeBron playoff activation video in form of a cartoon. I'll take that. All 100%. And just for fun, put Vivek somewhere in asking about playoff activation. Like, did you draft him because you thought he was a fox? That's still one of my favorite lines from that show. The text line is kindly letting me know I said Sam Amick would be on at 2:05. I don't know if Sam Amick is going to be on at 2:05 or not, but I know he's going to be on at 8:05. That's for sure. Sammy will be with us at 8:05. We'll talk about playoff activated LeBron. We'll talk about the Kings and the Warriors in action. And how about the Golden State Warriors? Steve Kerr said they're going to lift the minutes restriction on DeMarcus Cousins moving forward. Steve Kerr also said we'll see how the games go. I don't think we'll change the plan too much in terms of how we're going to play him in the rotations and all that. But I think once we get back into the rhythm, we can absolutely play him for longer stretches and play him down the stretch like we like. Again, that is Golden State Warriors head coach Steve Kerr. For those who are curious, DeMarcus Cousins has been averaging 23.4 minutes per game in his return, but is expected to start playing closer to that 30-minute mark.
I just wonder if he can be effective on both ends of the floor for 30 minutes. That's my biggest concern because he has been...
Have we ever seen DeMarcus Cousins effective on both ends of the floor for 30 minutes?
Have we seen DeMarcus Cousins have playoff mode activated?
We have not. That is a fact that Sacramento Kings fans are very familiar with. We have not seen activated DeMarcus Cousins playoff mode.
Part of the reason he's been able to stay on the floor for Golden State, especially late in games, is because he has been so active on the defensive end. Now, I know it's only 7-8 extra minutes, but that's 7-8 extra long minutes, especially late in a game.
Yeah.
Is he going to be able to move his feet in a pick and roll or stay in front of somebody if he gets stuck on the perimeter? Those are going to be big questions that he's going to have to answer before he gets crunch time minutes in the playoffs.
And I think that's something Steve Kerr would just play around with in these last 20-some-odd games because you really don't have to have DeMarcus Cousins playing in crunch time minutes right now.
Correct.
But in Game 6, if you get that far, you'd want that. In Game 7, certainly you would want him to be out there on the floor. And a lot of, what's good is DeMarcus was supposed to be the best player on both ends of the floor here, which I think was an exhausting thing for Sacramento Kings fans to watch because he couldn't be. And it's hard for when you hear an analyst point out how great a two-way player is, there's a reason they're doing it, particularly an analyst who used to play, because it's so difficult to play at the level in which Paul George is a great example. Kawhi Leonard, another great example. Kevin Durant oftentimes is a great example. But it's very difficult to play at a level 10 defensively and then go down on the other side of the floor and play at a level 10 offensively. Right. And for DeMarcus, the one thing that really may help him be a marquee defender is the fact that right now, sight unseen, he's the third best defender on the floor because Kevin Durant's already there and Draymond Green
and
is
Clay.
Already there. And I was going to lump Clay in there. I was going to say you could argue that he's the fourth best defender on the team, which is going to take a lot of pressure off him on that side of the ball.
Same thing.
Or that side of the court, excuse me.
The same thing goes for offensively too, though. He doesn't have to work nearly as hard on the offensive end because he might be the fifth best player on the floor on that side.
Right. Yeah, no, that's a great point. That's a great point. So he can conserve energy on each side of the floor, which is why we might see a DeMarcus Cousins that we haven't seen before. But he's likely going to get some extended minutes when the Warriors and the Kings play tonight. This is their fourth and final matchup of the season. As Kyle noted earlier, they've had a fantastic 3 first games. Would you say was decided by 8 points?
8 total points.
8 total points decided those 3 games. So we're going to talk a lot more about the Kings and the Warriors in this final hour. We'll talk more about Zion. Le'Veon Bell is a free agent for the first time in his career. And Sam Amick of The Athletic, what does he think about DeMarcus Cousins' increased workload? And what does he think about playoff-activated LeBron? We'll talk with Sammy next.
Fox because you thought he was a fox?
The Sacramento Kings begin their push for the playoffs tonight with their final matchup of the regular season against the defending champion Golden State Warriors.
The college dive, hammers it on the quick turn.
Game time is 7:30 on your home of the Kings, Sports 1140 KHTK.
And that will seal the deal.
Carmichael Dave here to talk to you about my good friends at Capital Casino, our original sponsor here on the morning show. They've been with us for years, and we're so proud to be partnered up with them as always because they are Sacramento's #1 poker room. I want you to go check out the newly remodeled Dragon Room featuring Texas Hold'em, Omaha, Big O, Pure 21.5 Blackjack, Baccarat, and my favorite game, 3-card poker. Now, Capital Casino also has a full restaurant and bar, and they have the best food, the best service, and the best games. By the way, Capital Casino poker tournaments each and every day, the most variety of games in the entire region, and you can have all that fun in a smoke-free environment. Now, if you want more information, all you have to do is go to www.capital-casino.com. And remember, always, please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Change lives by giving blood this Saturday, February 23rd from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and on Sunday, February 24th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Marketplace at Birdcage in Citrus Heights with Vitalent, formerly Blood Source, and Sports 1140 KHTK. As a thank you, all blood drive participants will receive a $10 Fandango movie voucher redeemable online. See you this Saturday and Sunday at Marketplace at Birdcage with Vitalent and Sports 1140 KHTK.
California, welcome to Save Yourself with Geico.
You send a congratulatory text to your newly promoted boss, but autocorrect changes it to something unintended.
Oh, no.
You couldn't save yourself from autocorrect gone horribly wrong, but you could save yourself hundreds by switching your car insurance to Geico.
Yes.
You could save on motorcycle, boat, and RV insurance too.
Nice.
Plus, the Geico Insurance Agency could help you save on homeowners and renters insurance.
Oh.
While your smartphone's word choice is becoming your biggest problem, you should know Geico is the second largest auto insurer in the country.
Okay.
Geico even has a 97% customer satisfaction rating
Ooh.
and has been helping people save money for over 75 years.
Huh.
And now, all you can do is watch the ... response bubble and wait. But you don't have to wait on savings. Your local Geico agent could help you save even more with federal and military discounts.
You couldn't save yourself from autocorrect, but you could save yourself hundreds with Geico online, over the phone, or at your local office.
For oil changes using genuine Motorcraft synthetic blend oil or other routine car maintenance, get into Elk Grove Ford's Quick Lane Auto Center.
Elk Grove Ford's Quick Lane has certified technicians who service all makes and models of vehicles.
Elk Grove Ford uses quality Motorcraft parts and Motorcraft synthetic blend oil.
Drive in Elk Grove Ford in the Elk Grove Auto Mall today and pull into the Quick Lane.
Family owned and operated, Elk Grove Ford, your Car Pro approved Ford dealer for all of Sacramento.
Elk Grove sells Fords.
At McDonald's, we're about making mornings from NorCal to Central Valley brighter. If the 99 has your commute at a standstill, an Egg McMuffin and a Sausage McMuffin with egg will put a smile on your face. And if your day on the farm can't start without some goodness, an Egg McMuffin and a hot McCafe coffee will be a delicious helping hand. Get either an Egg McMuffin or Sausage McMuffin with egg and an any size hot McCafe coffee for $4. Or mix and match 2 of these sandwiches for $4. Single item at regular price. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
It's easy to hit refresh with an ice-cold, any-size Coke or sweet tea for just $1 at McDonald's. See what I mean? Hit refresh anytime with any size Coke or sweet tea for just $1 on the $1, $2, $3 menu at McDonald's. It'll go perfectly with the food you crave.
Like a cheesy double cheeseburger or crispy 6-piece chicken McNuggets for only $2 each. Price and participation may vary for a limited time. Cannot be combined with any other offer or any combo meal.
This is your RAM Auto Update.
Factory certified pre-owned vehicles are late model cars, trucks, and SUVs with low mileage and no record of significant damage. These vehicles undergo a detailed minimum 160 multi-point inspection before you buy the vehicle. There's a manufacturer-backed warranty, plus a long list of extras, including low financing rates, free maintenance, free roadside assistance, and a complimentary loaner vehicle. That's peace of mind car buying. The Roseville Auto Mall's Factory Certified Center, driven to be the best.
Sacramento weather brought to you by Rayleigh's in Bel Air. Clear skies today with a high of 57 this afternoon and some gusty wind. At Rayleigh's in Bel Air, save big with amazing weekly sales like this week's Foster Farms whole dryer chicken on sale for only 79 cents a pound. Or get 4 large Haas avocados for just $5 at Rayleigh's in Bel Air.
Broadcasting from the Sacramento Republic FC studios. KHTK AM and HD. KNCI HD3 Sacramento. This is Sports 1140 KHTK. We do sports. Now, your Sports 1140 KHTK update. Brought to you by J.R. Putman Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
Hey, it's Kyle Madson with your top stories on Sports 1140. That's right, they're yours, not mine. The Zion Williamson show lasted just 36 seconds last night at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Duke's star forward blew out a shoe and injured his knee in the first minute of number 1 Duke's 88-72 blowout loss against number 8 North Carolina. Coach K called the injury a mild knee sprain, and a timeline for Williamson's return is unknown. Also, the NBA is back tonight. The Kings open their final 25-game stretch in Oakland against the Warriors. Warriors center DeMarcus Cousins won't have a minutes restriction for the first time since his return from an Achilles injury back in January. Our coverage on Sports 1140 begins with game night at 6 o'clock. Kings Live is at 7, and tip-off with the G-Man is a little later than normal. It's at 7:30 tonight, and that's right here on Sports 1140. Those are your top stories. Now back to the drive. It's Damien filling in for Dave on Sports 1140 KHTK.
Appreciate you so much for hanging out this morning. You can check us out on the live stream, KHTK.com. Although the king of the live stream is not here, Jason Herbert Walker Ross will be back with us on Monday when the show goes back to its normal time slot at noon. Of course, Carmichael Dave will be back here on Monday at 6 a.m. as well. Sam Amick of The Athletic is going to be with us here in just about 5 minutes. Did we get a winner for Luke Bryan tickets, by the way?
Yeah, we sure did.
Andy, congratulations. Luke Bryan with special guest John Langston at the Lake Tahoe Outdoor Arena at Harvey's on August 25th. We will have another pair of tickets to give away for you tomorrow. So make sure that you are locked in here with us. Again, Sam Amick's going to join us here in just a little bit. We've spent this morning talking about Zion Williamson and the injury that he suffered. Nothing new out of Duke and out of the Duke basketball camp other than what Coach K told us last night, and that is that Zion Williamson suffered a minor knee sprain. Le'Veon Bell, we learned from the Pittsburgh Steelers general manager, who we also learned is a complete putz. We've learned that Le'Veon Bell will be a free agent. This is, depending on who you are and how you felt about this situation, is depending on whether this is actually news or not. To me, this is newsworthy because I did wonder if the Pittsburgh Steelers were going to use a transition tag on him. I did wonder if the Pittsburgh Steelers were just going to be vengeful and attempt to keep him around and force his hand to potentially sit out another season. None of that seems to be the case. I think that's the right approach for everybody involved. As the Steelers general manager Kevin Colbert said yesterday, Le'Veon is still a great player. We can't afford to use any other type of tags. Le'Veon will be an unrestricted free agent at the start of the new league year, which is coming up, by the way, on March 4th. That is a quote there from the Pittsburgh Steelers general manager. So that team is going to look a lot different next year. Given this week, we've been told that Le'Veon Bell will be a restricted free agent and that Antonio Brown will be traded. It was fun last night reading through some of the different potential trade scenarios for Antonio Brown. Is there a situation where Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell could wind up on the same team? I think that's worth visiting because I think there is a team in the Bay Area that has room for both of them. But we'll get into those types of discussions tomorrow when we have some fun in our mailbag, as we've gotten a lot of questions about Le'Veon Bell, about Antonio Brown, about them prospectively winding up with one of the Bay Area teams. But Le'Veon Bell, by the way, 130 yards per game over 5 seasons with the Pittsburgh Steelers. That is amazing. 130 yards per game. No word yet, though, if Le'Veon Bell was playoff activated when he received this news. We know that Sam Amick is always playoff activated. Sam Amick of The Athletic with us here on The Drive. Sammy, always great to hear from you. The NBA, second part of the NBA season gets underway tonight. Want to start with the Los Angeles Lakers and the Houston Rockets. They play tonight. Want to start with LeBron James, who LeBron already, by his own admission, Sammy, is playoff activated. What does playoff activation mean to you?
Playoff activation, Damien, it feels very video gamey. You know what I mean? Like you got the cheat code and you've been waiting to use it, and you wait until the big boss is, very near in your future, and then you type in the code, and then you're indestructible. I think that's what playoff activated means. But I think LeBron might find out that the cheat code has been changed. But we shall see. These Lakers are going to have a hard time.
Is there a scenario? I'm glad you said that. Is there a scenario that you could see, Sam, where LeBron is out of this world, and we all know that he's capable of? No one is laughing at that because we've seen it too many times. But sure, that this Laker team just isn't good enough, or engaged enough to make a run.
I mean, for one, and it's a small sample size, but during all the trade deadline chaos and then immediately after, I looked at this the other day. You got a 6-game stretch after LeBron came back. Now, he missed one of those games, the loss to the Warriors. They go 2-4, and their net rating, which, as you know, is one of the more trusted stats that just quantifies just bottom line how good a team is playing, how bad they're playing. Net rating was 28th in the NBA. So that's with him back, all except for one of those games. And I think that, the other thing that's getting glossed over, people are acting like, oh, well, LeBron's back, but is he all the way back? Listen, the dude averaged a triple-double in these past 5 games that he played in. And, it's still a team game. So, yeah, I think that, if the Ingrams and the Kuzmas and the Harts and guys like that don't kind of find that spirit to actually care enough to get to the playoffs with him, then it might be your Kings or maybe the Clippers getting in there instead.
Are you impressed by players who average triple-doubles? Because if you are, boy, I've got the player for you, Sammy. I have got the guy for you, my friend. We'll talk after the show. Kyle?
Sam, you mentioned the Clippers in there, and they're interesting to watch down the stretch because they get their first-round pick, and correct me if I'm wrong, they keep their first-round pick if they miss the playoffs. Do you foresee them maybe not trying to make the playoffs down the stretch?
I don't honestly. I can't gauge it, and I know a lot. Like the Clippers have a big group from front office to coaches and stuff. So it's a great question, Kyle, and I don't have the answer. Even though I know a lot of people in the front office and I know people on the team, and I can't figure out who's going to win this battle because the people on the team, from Doc Rivers on down, they just don't have it in them to roll over, lay down, and they want to compete. And you have guys on that team my goodness, Lou Williams. Say what you will about him being a one-way player because he is, but baller competitor, right? Like nobody really questions his competitiveness. Montrezl Harrell, guy's an absolute beast. Patrick Beverley gets after it every single night. These are the types of guys with Danilo Gallinari playing pretty good ball that don't want to lose. And so information, they lose the first round pick if they make the playoffs. But they're going into this summer with 2, and I'm starting to wonder, if they get close to that playoff near the end, does management decide that there is a value when it comes to the optics of the Kawhi Leonards and Kevin Durant's on, look at this, guys, like we got to the playoffs, like, without you. And, this is going to be, we're going to have a great time with you. So I don't know. That's going to be very interesting down the stretch because normally that team would roll over and want to keep that pick.
Looking at another team that's fighting for a playoff spot, which is a weird sentence to say, is the San Antonio Spurs. Pop seems to have flirted a little bit with retirement this year. Do you think that these might legitimately be the last 20-some-odd games of Greg Popovich's coaching career?
It sounds like it could be. I don't have, any independent intel on that front, so I'll lean on friend and colleague Mark Stein of the New York Times, who has written pretty extensively about this and indicated that, I believe what he reported was that the Spurs just simply did not know what Pop was going to do this summer, and so that was an open question. He's got the Team USA gig, in his back pocket to where he would still be coaching, so he's not going to disappear from the coaching ranks. He's just going into that tenure. But, it's been a long level of success and looking at this kind of a transition that has gone better than expected this year, I think, or at least, it's gone okay after having to trade a guy like Kawhi Leonard. But it's not, they're still so far from championship contention that if you're him, what's the end game? Are you trying to see this through to another title in San Antonio? Because that's going to probably take you 3, 4, 5, 6 years. And, I don't see him coaching for that long for sure.
Sam Amick of The Athletic with us here on The Drive. Sam, I loved your new column for The Athletic, or at least your most recent column, because it just covered such a wide range of topics. And one of them was Adam Silver. And I'm wondering what your feeling was coming out of Adam Silver's kind of State of the NBA address, and more specifically, how you felt Adam Silver did addressing the situation. Obviously, he was talking about trades and players requesting a trade. Obviously, Anthony Davis was, on the forefront of everybody's mind during this press conference.
First of all, before I answer that, did you enjoy the Forget Paris video clip that was
I did.
Included?
That's a deep cut that I think many people enjoyed.
Old school Kareem, Isaiah, Bill Laimbeer, Billy Crystal throwing everybody out of the game, which is, what I think Adam should be doing when it comes to the tampering issue. When it comes to AD and Adam's framing of that, I like Adam a lot. He's done a tremendous job as commissioner, but he's just far more political is not the right way of saying it, but he's just not. I mean, David Stern just he just put it on the table, with how he saw stuff. And Adam is masterful when it comes to, being substantive and not being up there as any sort of talking head or just a paper tiger, but doing it in a way that pleases, as many crowds as possible. So, I don't know. He talked about AD and the idea that he is disconcerted by the fact that these guys signed these contracts and then so far in advance of the contract being up, they're trying to kind of work their way out of town. And he, to his credit, did acknowledge all these unintended consequences of tweaks that have been made in the collective bargaining agreement. And that's what we're seeing right now. The Supermax deal that they thought was going to keep guys in their incumbent market, that has not been the case locally, with DeMarcus Cousins being a great example, where the Kings, they didn't want to pay that premium. So, he knows they got work to do on that front.
You think it was a bad look for Rich Paul to be sitting courtside at the All-Star game?
It's funny. Not only a bad look, but there was more than meets the eye with that story. I heard some stuff yesterday that was fascinating. Like, Rich Paul is definitely, he's getting under the skin of all of his rivals right now. And even people within the league who don't think that the AD situation has been handled very well. He's the part of me that admittedly kind of loves it is that he is, I don't know if he's going to succeed, but he is 100% trying to buck the system, like in every opportunity he has. He's trying. If conventional wisdom is that agents don't sit on the floor, he's going to sit on the floor. Mm-hmm. If conventional wisdom is that you make trade demands, by leaking them through the media anonymously, he's going to put his name on it and say it on the record. So the part of me that, from an entertainment value standpoint, it's kind of fun to see a disruptor in an industry, because, I don't have any skin in the game. But within the league, he's definitely, rubbing a lot of people the wrong way right now.
That's not terribly unusual, though, is it? It's not unusual for agents to be, to dislike one another. Is it just the tie to LeBron James?
No, but they're all talking about him. It's probably the tie, and it's this debate over power or the perception of power, and it's on both sides. On Rich's side, and with good reason, he's pushing back against the narrative that he would never be, that essentially he's not accomplishing anything in his career independent of LeBron James. And so, he certainly, he reacts very strongly anytime anybody writes or says that, this guy doesn't have any, only has juice because of LeBron. Mm-hmm. Because, he has built up his client list. He has handled some other situations, some good, some bad. But, he's been doing this thing for a minute now. And then on the other side, I think it's resentment over the fact that the longer that he does this, he is getting kind of credited with having a certain level of influence within the NBA. And people who don't like him, they always want him to be perceived as just LeBron's guy and nothing more. And they're trying to keep that label on him. So that's kind of where it's at right now.
It's funny. There are agents who represent, one guy will represent 10 All-Stars, 7 Olympians or whatever. Rich Paul has John Wall, Ben Simmons, LeBron, and Anthony Davis. And then he has kind of a cast of characters that are along the lines of the Morris brothers and Ben McLemore. This all, to me, comes back to LeBron. People are jealous of his association with LeBron James and the belief that LeBron is the most powerful figure in all the sports, and it's not Rich Paul, and it's not Adam Silver, it's LeBron James.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's funny you mentioned that, because the root of this whole conversation I had with this other agent yesterday was that I had shared with him that I was contemplating writing a story or doing like a ranking that tried, and I've been thinking about this for years, and hopefully nobody listening is in the media and steals my idea, but like of ranking, most powerful people in the NBA, but having it be like an unorthodox list, because everybody would say Adam Silver, LeBron James, Michelle Roberts, go down the line.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about some of the characters, that not everybody knows or even realizes how much power they have. But it's hard to get at that question. And so that conversation led to the Rich Paul debate, because it's like, I know for a fact, like, wherever I put Rich would be way too high for everybody else in the entire league. Like, the blowback on that front would be great. So it's that word I used a second ago. It's disruptor. That's what he's doing. And there's a bigger backdrop here as well, of like a young African-American executive who doesn't like the way the system works and is trying to, kind of spark change in a pretty unique way. So, I mean, that's where Rich's head is at. I've talked to him about it. Like, he wants to inspire superstars to not work within the system, to kind of seize the control of their own situation. And even the other day, not to ramble on it, but, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar did an interview with, I think it was Michael Lee at our place, The Athletic, that where he said flat out that, players, they just don't know how long they're going to play. And so he was endorsing the idea that somebody like Anthony Davis would go to extreme measures to put himself in a place where he's happy sooner rather than later. Because, as we saw last night, Zion Williamson gets hurt. All it takes is one injury, and this whole thing comes to an end. And so that's, Rich is trying to push people down that road.
People should really take the time to read up on Rich Paul. It's a fascinating story. You talk about, people being uncomfortable because he's a disturber. He also did things differently. His path to the NBA, his path as an NBA agent was a lot different than these other guys in the league, and it's worth a read up. It's really, to me, a very, very interesting story, and he is a very, very compelling figure in the world of the NBA, far past his association with LeBron James. We've talked about the Lakers, Sammy. We've talked a little bit about the Clippers. The Sacramento Kings are the other team involved in the playoff mix here when we're talking about the 8th spot and even potentially the 7th spot. If I forced you to put some of those Amick dollars down on a team right now, who do you like grabbing that final spot as we head into the second part of the season tonight?
Man, I really don't. I don't like any of my picks. The Kings would be my pick, but what pushes me away from them is just the schedule, because I fear for their sake that in about 10 days they might find themselves with quite a hole to make up, because they've got a pretty rough run. And not only that, you're playing really good teams at a time when those really good teams are re-energized after the break, motivated to win, as opposed to catching them in the last week of the season when maybe they're kind of dialing it back. So I'm sure kind of displeasure of the local crowd, I will not say the Kings. I guess I'll go with the Lakers. The Clippers thing, I guess I'll say they fall out at the tail end and they put up, a good fight and send out that messaging that they competed from beginning to end. But then, look at that. They barely missed and now they get to keep their pick type of deal. But I don't trust any of it. I trust the Kings, honestly, potentially probably the most of the three as a team. That's just a scheduling thing. But, the Lakers, I guess I'll lean on their LeBron history and say that they find a way to get it done.
The Lakers with the 4th toughest remaining schedule in the NBA, according to ESPN stats and information. No one's really...
What's the Kings? See, I don't know what I'm talking about then. What's the Kings
I actually
ranking?
Don't have the Kings number. Could you pull that up for me, Kyle? Could you see what the Kings' strength of schedule looks like for the remainder of the season? I know a lot of Sacramento Kings fans have posted various versions of the schedule with teams above 500 versus teams below 500, but what the actual strength of schedule number is, I don't know. Kyle's looking that up right now. I just happen to have the Lakers number in front of me here, and we mentioned that is the 4th. Kyle? The 21st most difficult schedule. Okay.
What am I talking about then, man? Well, since I'm already getting yelled at by a good old drunk neighbor John on my phone for picking the Lakers, maybe I'll change my pick now and go back to the Kings. The schedule's not as tough as I thought. It didn't take very long, Damien. I look at my phone and I'm being told to, for all intents and purposes, go to hell. I didn't pick the Kings.
we invite flip-floppers on the show. That's never a problem, Sammy, and drunk neighbor John.
21st, you said?
Yeah.
Jeez. All right.
It's it's that first stretch, Sam, right out the gate, because it starts with the Warriors. It ended with the Nuggets. It starts with the Warriors here. Oklahoma City's coming up this weekend. When you look at those first 5 games out of the gate, you just said, in 10 days, the Kings could look at this thing and find themselves out of it. They're going to have to find a way to beat a couple of these really good teams. They got the Bucks coming in here on Wednesday, for goodness sakes.
I know. I'm excited to see Giannis come to town. And, all right, well, maybe they can pull it off. Man, Kyle, you're asking good questions. You're inspiring me to flip-flop with your intel. You're on fire today, man.
Also,
thanks. I'm wearing the good question crown right now, so I feel really good about myself. Thank you.
I'm clearly looking at my phone too much because I saw your Twitter mention. All right, so Kings in. There we go. Warriors-Kings in the first round. Tonight is a playoff preview. That changes everything. And maybe they can go shock the champs tonight and get going on the right road here.
Well, if they do that, they're going to have to do it likely with an increased role from DeMarcus Cousins, who Steve Kerr said yesterday the minutes restriction on him will be lifted. He's been playing 23.4 minutes per game since his return, an uptick in minutes for DeMarcus Cousins beginning tonight. Do you see that being another shift in the current state of the Golden State Warriors?
I do. I'm curious to see how Steve coaches tonight. I mean, I don't think he would lean into this all that much, but knowing that DeMarcus is now comfortable, knowing that he's playing his old team, he's probably going to get that ball fed to him in the post more than they have been of late. So we'll see if he's going to try to go drop a 50 spot on his old squad. But stylistically, this is not a good matchup for him unless they can just find a way to slow the Kings down. More minutes for him, for him on the floor with a team that runs like the Kings do is going to be challenging. But, he's absolutely an X factor for them going down the stretch as they continue to try to figure out their comfort zone with him, figure out, what part he's going to play in the playoffs. And a lot of focus, the thing is, it's not going to be until the finals until he becomes of the utmost importance if they get there, when you're going up against now the Marc Gasols and the Joel Embiids and guys like that. But, it's a different wrinkle that so far has looked pretty good for them.
Sammy, we got to let you go. Quick, one more note on tonight's game. Does Harden go for 30-plus?
Yeah. I mean, he's just doing that in his sleep. So I say, yeah. I mean, it's even on nights when he looks like he's off, he gets it, mid-third quarter. So I'm definitely going to go for the over.
There you have it. Rockets get Clint Capella back to the lineup tonight. Sammy, you're the best. We appreciate you, my friend. Thank you as always.
You got it. Thanks, Damien.
All right. Sam Amick of The Athletic. If you are not a subscriber yet, become a subscriber. The work, not just from Sam, but the rest of the crew over there at The Athletic is fantastic. We're going to talk more about the Sacramento Kings, who Sammy flip-flopped on there. He's all about the Kings in the playoffs right now. How confident are you that the Kings will make the playoffs? We asked you that over on Facebook. We'll get to some of your responses. And then for the first time, we'll break down in depth the game tonight against a team that the Sacramento Kings have played against so well. It is the Kings and the Warriors tonight as the second part of the NBA season resumes. We'll talk a little bit of football next. The Steelers general manager.
Nobody loves sports more than Alexa.
That's right. Tell it like it is.
Now you can put the most passionate sports fan, Alexa, to work for you.
Yeah, baby.
Open the Alexa app. Enable the Sports 1140 KHTK skills. Then it's easy to stream us from anywhere.
I have skills. Mad skills.
Alexa, play Sports 1140 KHTK.
It's Carmichael Dave here to talk to you about Fire Wings. They've got their Nashville Fire Chicken Sandwich, and they've got it at all of their locations now in the Sacramento area. A butterflied chicken thigh. I've tried it. I love every single morsel. Right down, don't forget, to the pickle. The spice is great. The flavor lingers as well. And you, I promise, will not be disappointed. It's the best and the spiciest Nashville Fire Sandwich around. But they have 3 levels of spice. You can choose which one you want that's best for you, and they serve it on a brioche bun with coleslaw. It is truly the best. Now, if you're still into, of course, their award-winning wings, they've got their 21 different flavors to choose from. And, of course, you know my favorite, the breaded Malaysian curry. Ordering, super simple. You can order online from a location near you at firewings.com or, of course, go in and visit them. Tell them your good buddy Carmichael Dave sent you over there. And always remember, never forget, Fire Wings, just wing it.
This is Brandon Tierney with a CBS Sports Minute sponsored by Glassdoor. Find the right fit for your business at glassdoor.com/hire. Probably didn't think the Padres were going to cough up $300 million for Manny Machado, did you? You know who wanted Machado? The White Sox wanted him. They reportedly offered in the neighborhood of $300 million as well, but he spurned that offer to go to San Diego. So they still have money to spend. Here's how they should spend it. Take the $300 million and disperse it in a bunch of different spots. Dallas Keuchel will give you 3 years plus an option. Craig Kimbrell, here's 2 years for $20 million a pop. Marwin Gonzalez will give you 4 years, $65 million. Adam Jones will give you Andrew McCutchen money, 3 years, $50 million. And we already have Jose Abreu who's the mainstay DH. And you look at the division if this ever happened. The Tigers stink, the Royals stink, the Twins stink. Your only competition's the Indians. White Sox, join the party, mix it up, make it really interesting. I'm BT.
Hey, Sacramento. Thinking of selling your home but worried about how long it might take? Check out Open Door, the new way to sell your house on your timeline. We buy your home directly, so there's no risk of buyer financing falling through. And when you accept our offer, you decide when you move. At Open Door, we put home sellers in control. Just listen.
I'll never forget, we walked out of the title office and we were looking at each other and we were like, we just sold our house.
There wasn't a moment of concern or worry. It was wonderful. We'd do it again.
With a typical transaction, you're at the buyer's mercy. With Open Door, it was, how can we help you?
There were no surprises.
Taking charge of your home sale is easy. Visit opendoor.com/sold and our local real estate experts will make a custom offer just for you. It's free and there's no obligation to accept. It's your move. Take control and visit opendoor.com/sold today. Open Door is represented by Open Door Brokerage, Inc., a licensed real estate brokerage in the state of California. License ID number 02061130. Customers were compensated for their time. Opinions are their own.
It's 2019 and you have goals to hit. Get fit, get healthy, get energized. No matter your goals, my boy Mike at Sunrise Natural Foods can help you not only meet your goals, but blow your 2019 goals out of the water. Visit Sunrise Natural Foods.
Sacramento weather brought to you by Cache Creek Casino Resort. Clear skies today with a high of 57 degrees and some gusty wind this afternoon. Cache Creek 500 slot tournaments held every Friday through Monday until March 16th. The top 5 daily scores will move on to the finals, where a brand new 2019 Corvette will be given away. Visit CacheCreek.com for details.
During every Kings broadcast, listen for Gary Gerald to call the Petkus Brothers Moment of the Game. Get the spectacular backyard you've always wanted. Start now at PetkusBrothers.com.
Now, your Sports 1140 KHTK update. Brought to you by J.R. Putman Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
This is Kyle Madson with your top stories on Sports 1140. The Zion Williamson show last night at Cameron Indoor Stadium lasted only 36 seconds. Duke's star forward blew out a shoe and injured his knee in the first minute of number 1 Duke's 88-72 loss to number 8 North Carolina. Coach K after the game called that knee injury a mild knee sprain, and a timeline for Williamson's return is unknown. And the NBA is back tonight. The Kings open their final 25-game stretch against the Warriors in Oakland. Golden State center DeMarcus Cousins will be without a minutes restriction for the first time since he returned from his Achilles injury back in January. Our coverage on Sports 1140 begins with game night at 6. Kings Live is at 7 and tip-off with the G-Man a little bit later tonight. It's set for 7:30. It is 8:29, and those are your top stories. Now it's time for The Drive on Sports 1140.
Damien, I'm still here.
It's me. Damien.
Thank you.
It's Damien filling in for Dave.
Thanks.
Be
here all week, folks. Be here all week. It was my shirt. You don't like my shirt?
If you don't tune into the live stream, do it now.
Yeah, well, I did. What I had realized is I actually did have. There's a pic that Chris's, the champ, is right next to me, which we do every live stream because Chris doesn't come over with us when we do the mornings. So I make sure that Chris is represented with the champ T-shirt. Cody isn't in here for all 3 hours because she has tons of other duties that she has to do here at the radio station. So I keep my favorite picture of her right behind me. And so when Cody calls, she doesn't know this, but when Cody calls me, that's the picture that comes up. that tells me to answer the phone. So that's directly over my shoulder. What I didn't realize was you guys can't see the picture that I had of Jason. I had it on Jason's chair directly in front of me where Jason would be sitting if he was here. I didn't realize you couldn't see it. So I had to take it in. I've just now have put the picture of Jason staring lovingly at Nemanja Bjelica at Media Day this week. I have it now taped to my shirt so everybody watching on KHTK.com can see. So I'm going to have to find a creative place to place this picture tomorrow so everybody can see it and know that even though Jason's not here, he is still king of the live stream, and he is still very much a part of the show even when he is not around. Le'Veon Bell, he will not be a part of the Pittsburgh Steelers moving forward. As the general manager, Kevin Colbert, said yesterday, Le'Veon's a great player. Unfortunately, we can't afford to use any other tags on him. Le'Veon will be an unrestricted free agent at the start of the new league year. We could spend some time tomorrow talking about where Le'Veon Bell fits, where the best situation for him is, where the best situation potentially for a team trying to pick him up who could take the next step with Le'Veon Bell on the roster maybe. We can do all of that moving forward. It's amazing to me that a guy who averaged 130 yards per game over 5 seasons for a team, you couldn't come to a long-term contract extension with him, because that's what this is all about. This isn't about a franchise tag. This is about a contract extension and about paying a running back his value to the team. You're talking about the most dynamic running back in the NFL. And you didn't want to pay him over that $14.5 million marker that the franchise tag was. Now, there were, I think the highest number that we heard reported was around 13. But he kept saying, no, like you got to pay me more than that. I'm worth closer to 17 to 20. I don't know if he's going to get that. Teams are going to have the ability to offer it. There are plenty of teams with cap space out there that can offer him that dollar figure. It's just a question of what's the number that he'll go for. To me, at 27, this is easy. Now, I'm not a general manager and I don't negotiate contracts, but if I was an agent, I would put this as a very simple deal for whatever team that wants to sign Le'Veon Bell. Sign him to a 2 to 3 year fully guaranteed contract, and then you're out. No one's going to be comfortable with that third year because he's going to be 30. So you can have 2 years and perhaps the option for a third, a team option for a third at the same dollar figure. That way, if the team's uncomfortable, they can get out. But do the Kirk Cousins style contract where it's fully guaranteed. That's how I would approach this if I was his agent. And if I was a general manager, I don't know why I'd say no to that, because your concern with Le'Veon Bell is going to wind up being his age. Well, take advantage of the at least 2 more years that you know that he's going to be very good, or at least that the clock says he's going to be very good. He's 27, and he didn't play last year. And yet somehow, that's not the most outlandish thing that Kevin Colbert said yesterday. What he did say that I just can't get over, he said about Ben Roethlisberger. Now, he talked about Ben Roethlisberger being the unquestioned leader of the locker room. He talked about Ben Roethlisberger having the freedom to publicly criticize his teammates if he sees fit. And I quote, he's the elder statesman and the Super Bowl winner. If our players were smart, I repeat, if our players were smart, they'd listen to him because he's been there. He's done that. He can tell them, no, guys, what you're doing is or is not good enough to do this. That's the general manager of the Pittsburgh Steelers talking about Ben Roethlisberger. As stupid as I find every word that came out of his mouth, nothing is as dumb as this line. I honestly believe that can be a burden on him more often than he may like to admit, because he has to. I mean, he's got 52 kids under him, to be quite honest. The general manager of the Pittsburgh Steelers just referred to 52 players on his roster as Ben Roethlisberger's children. I'm being silent for dramatic effect. Let that sink in. Imagine the elder statesman at your office is the prize commodity of your boss, and your boss stands in front of a meeting and says, you guys are just the children of so-and-so here. I'm trying to envision my boss, not Jason, but my boss downstairs, walking up and having a staff meeting and saying, well, you really should listen to Grant Napier. Like, he's the elder statesman here. You guys are basically his sons and daughters. Like, I'm sorry, what? Like, I would really have to ask Kevin Colbert. Like, I'd call him right now. Like, hey, I'm going to need you to clarify this just a little bit. Like, what did you mean that we're Ben Roethlisberger's 52 kids out here? And given some of the accusations surrounding Ben Roethlisberger, 52 kids might – oh, never mind. Nope. Sorry, Kyle, you wanted to jump in? Sorry.
It would just be – yeah, it would be very difficult just because of human nature to function properly after that. Like, that's just not an okay thing to say.
No, it's horrible. It's absurd.
Like, just it's so difficult to unpack all the layers of stupidity on that. And
is there any wonder why this team self-destructed last year?
No.
Given those were quotes from the general manager.
So basically, any dispute that a player has with Ben Roethlisberger, they A, either can't bring it up, or B, they can and know that they're going to get shunned by the front office for it.
Does anybody roll their eyes now at what Antonio Brown said on Twitter the other day about Ben Roethlisberger having the mentality of an owner? Like, he has been given the credibility. He has been given the status of basically the owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And listening to their general manager talk, it's no wonder Antonio Brown feels that way. You had the most talented running back in the league. You had the most talented wide receiver in the league. But somehow, they're the problem? Does anybody who may have been on the side of Ben Roethlisberger or may have been anti-Antonio Brown or anti-Le'Veon Bell or anti them wanting to get out of Pittsburgh, does anybody think differently now after hearing what this general manager says? After hearing the general manager say Ben Roethlisberger can do what he wants. You know who else can do what they want? Tom Brady. Tom Brady can do what the hell he wants. He's got 2 hands full of Super Bowl rings. You know who doesn't behave like this? Tom Brady. You know who doesn't placate Tom Brady's behavior? His de facto general manager, who is also his coach.
Bill Belichick has never once said, Julian Edelman, you're basically Tom Brady's son.
Never. He's barely acknowledged Tom Brady as being any good.
Correct.
It
takes a lot.
He will very passively aggressively praise, oh, yeah, no, he's good. Like, I remember moments after the Super Bowl, they're asking Bill Belichick on the podium at I don't remember if it was SportsCenter or ESPN or what postgame show it was, but they're trying to get him to praise Tom Brady, and he basically says, "Yeah, he's good.
He could have been better."
It was a team effort. Like, we all got the job done. Everybody did their job. Yeah, but Tom is good. But everybody else did their job. Like, might I introduce you to my right tackle over here? Might I introduce you to my nose guard here? Because Bill Belichick, I honest to God believes he thinks everyone on that team played an equal part into winning the championship. And I'm not disagreeing with him or saying that he's wrong, but you'll never hear him say some outlandish trash like this Pittsburgh Steelers general manager did.
I'm not sure you'll hear any general manager say
this is insane.
That's such a wild thing to say.
Oh my gosh. Just the more you read this, he's the elder statesman and the Super Bowl winner. And we just brushed past the fact that he used the phrase, if our players were smart, they'd listen to him. And that's a clear insinuation that, well, Antonio Brown didn't want to listen. Antonio Brown didn't bow at the feet of Ben Roethlisberger like he should have. James Harrison didn't do it. Perhaps Le'Veon Bell didn't do it either. But if our players were smart, they'd listen to him because he's been there. He's done it.
What did he say? It starts with Ben and then everyone else fills in the gaps or something like that? Can you imagine being an all-pro at any position and being told, like, yeah, you're just kind of there?
Can you imagine?
You're disposable.
No, you know what? How about this?
Because we have Ben Roethlisberger. Ugh.
Can you imagine being an
52 stupid kids,
all-pro wide receiver, or perhaps the best wide receiver in all of football? Can you imagine being that guy and being told on a radio show by your quarterback that you should run a better route? Because imagine the fallout if Antonio Brown said, Ben's not getting the ball out quick enough. Ben's spiral's not tight enough. Ben's not getting the ball. He's got to put more velocity on the ball. Imagine that. That's not going over very well.
No.
But what Ben Roethlisberger does is counted as leadership. More ridiculous quotes from this idiot. I want them to step up and say, hey, Ben, what do I have to do? Can I do this better? What do you have to do to win a Super Bowl? I think that once you win it, you've got 53 guys who can say what it took. Right now, he's the only one. So I have no problem with him. He can call me out, and that's fine. What he does, I totally respect because I see him too many times win games for us and come through in situations. Again, I will ask the question, is there any wonder why the Pittsburgh Steelers were a sea of dysfunction this year? Those are quotes from their general manager. We're going to leave that behind. We're going to get to your Sacramento Kings. They are back in action tonight against the Golden State Warriors. How confident are you the Kings will make the playoffs? We've got that next.
The Sacramento Kings begin their push for the playoffs tonight with their final matchup of the regular season against the defending champion Golden State Warriors.
The college dive, hammers it on the quick turn.
Game time is 7:30 on your home of the Kings, Sports 1140 KHTK.
And that will seal the deal.
Now that the holidays are over and here in Sacramento our winter is officially starting, it's time for you to think about getting your heater checked out by Sierra Pacific. Right now, they've got up to $1,600 rebates on a new Linux system. And they've got your winter tune-up special. Just $89 gets your entire system checked out and ready to go. You see them everywhere. The guys in the big red trucks. Call Sierra Pacific today, 800-551-3040, or online at sierrapacifichome.com.
Sierra Pacific Solar Heating and Air. The guys in the big red trucks.
At Zoom Imaging Solutions, it's all about one company, one team, and one family. When you work with Zoom, you will quickly find out they conduct their business with the utmost integrity, transparency, dependability, and commitment. There's many duplicate businesses out there in today's marketplace, but there's only one Zoom. Find out for yourself the Zoom difference and give them a call at 916-369-6526 or visit zoomcopiers.com to reach a specialist in your area.
California, welcome to Save Yourself with Geico.
You casually maneuver to snap a photo of the guy at the restaurant who looks just like that one celebrity from that movie, and your flash goes off. You couldn't save yourself from the embarrassment of doppelganger guy noticing your paparazzi pic. But you could save yourself hundreds by switching your car insurance to Geico.
Yes.
You could save on motorcycle, boat, and RV insurance too. Plus, the Geico Insurance Agency could help you save on homeowners and renters insurance.
Okay.
While your flash-happy smartphone has become your biggest problem, you should know Geico is the second largest auto insurer in the country.
Nice.
Geico even offers 24/7 access to licensed agents in the award-winning Geico mobile app.
Ooh.
And while your impromptu photo shoot didn't go as planned, you could plan on saving more, like military and federal discounts, with your local Geico agent.
You couldn't save yourself from the shame of being outed by your camera flash, but you could save yourself hundreds with Geico online, over the phone, or at your local office.
At McDonald's, we're about making mornings from NorCal to Central Valley brighter. If the 99 has your commute at a standstill, an Egg McMuffin and a Sausage McMuffin with egg will put a smile on your face. And if your day on the farm can't start without some goodness, an Egg McMuffin and a hot McCafe coffee will be a delicious helping hand. Get either an Egg McMuffin or Sausage McMuffin with egg and an any size hot McCafe coffee for $4. Or mix and match two of these sandwiches for $4. Single item at regular price. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
It's easy to hit refresh with an ice-cold, any-size Coke or sweet tea for just $1 at McDonald's. See what I mean? Hit refresh anytime with any size Coke or sweet tea for just $1 on the $1, $2, $3 menu at McDonald's. It'll go perfectly with the food you crave.
Like a cheesy double cheeseburger or crispy 6-piece chicken McNuggets for only $2 each. Price and participation may vary. For a limited time. Cannot be combined with any other offer or any combo meal.
Springtime is almost here, and it's the perfect time to get more at AutoZone. And getting more out of your car battery starts with Duralast. Duralast batteries are proven tough, so you can always count on a smooth startup. Give yourself peace of mind with Duralast. Proven tough and available only at AutoZone. Let us help you at more than 5,600 locations nationwide.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Today, business happens here, and virtually anywhere. Because today, innovative companies are reinventing the way business happens. And they need people who can keep up. With the expertise and technology to get packages to over 150 million delivery points. So, who can help you deliver the future of commerce? The United States Postal Service. See why we deliver more e-commerce packages to homes than anyone at USPS.com/future.
Roseville Lexus. Grant Napier here. Nothing tops the feel and performance of driving a new Lexus. And there's no finer place to acquire one than Lexus of Roseville. In the Roseville Auto Mall. Here, Roseville, think Lexus.
Lexus Roseville.
Quick reminder as we wrap things up here. Search us out on social media at Damien Barling across all social media platforms. At Jason Ross 1140, at Cody Baylor across all social media platforms as well. Kyle Madson, I believe it is Kyle A. Madson. Search at your own risk and can be a bit dangerous, specifically on Twitter. I love the text line, the Jiffy Lube text line at 441140, because many of you share my disgust with Ben Roethlisberger. But there are some great lines here. First of all, those listening on the those watching on KHTK.com have said, I wish my wife looked at me like J. Ross looks at Nemanja.
Same.
Yeah, if everyone's spouse looked at them the way that Jason Ross is looking at Nemanja Bjelica in this picture behind me, 0% of marriages would end in divorce.
It's a great point.
Like 0, because that is, I don't know what that is. I have a picture of Jason and I at training camp for the Oakland Raiders, like 2 or 3 years, where Jason is very lovingly looking at me.
I think that's just Jason.
I think it is too. I completely agree. Jason is a very loving individual, and whether it's me, who he's known for years, or Nemanja Bjelica, who he knew for 7 seconds, he looks at them with a very, I'm not sure loving is the right term for that look. But
there's a lot of desire in those eyes.
There is desire, that's for sure. More text here. Don't lie, it's a picture of Lindsey Fudge on your phone. That's a deep cut reference right there from the lowdown. Well done. Kyle doesn't even get that one.
I don't listen to enough of the lowdown, I guess.
Of course you don't. Lindsey Fudge reference here in the morning. Solid stuff there from the text line. We appreciate that. And yes, I do have Lindsey's picture popping up at random occasions. I actually have Lindsey Fudge's picture pop up when Kyle calls. It's the only thing that makes me happy when Kyle calls. It's like, oh, there's Lindsey. Hi, Kyle. It's just like,
I don't think I've ever called you.
You know, very few people do. Like, Cody started doing it regularly, so that's why I put her picture up.
Sure.
And again, she'll be mortified if she knew that was the picture that pops up when she calls. But Jason's the only, like, no one calls.
Yeah.
Jason calls. Like, if you called, I'd be like, oh, crap.
Right, like what happened?
Jason calls just to talk.
Yeah.
It's totally normal, like, to see Jason. Jason will very much ask you a question that can be text.
Yeah.
But that's not, that is not the J. Ross way. J. Ross is a caller. And if he really wanted to up the ante, he'll call you from his landline at his house.
No way.
Yes. The one that's connected to the wall. He will call you from
What
there.
is this, 2006? All right. Landlines.
More ridiculous quotes from this idiot. So the point in all of that was to thank the text line for sharing in my disgust. Perhaps the best text line, though, as we noted that the idiot I was referring to in that soundbite is the Pittsburgh Steelers general manager, who said, well, you know, kind of in this situation, Ben Roethlisberger's got 52 kids. A number of people have noted on the text line that he still doesn't have as many as Phillip Rivers. So that's, again, solid work.
It's really good.
From those on the text line. If you want to get in the final couple minutes here, you can on the Fire Wings hotline. Try one of the delicious 21 flavors of wings today. Fire Wings, just wing it, 339-1140. 1-800-920-1140. Jason Ross doesn't mail you letters. No, he does that too. Actually, the one of us to actually give out handwritten stuff is actually me.
Yeah.
I'm the one who hands out like handwritten notes or letters to people.
I've never gotten a letter.
It wouldn't be a long one. 7 words or seven letters, 2 words. You want to play Wheel of Fortune right here and see if we can figure it out? That's what it is. That's 100%. You're right about the U and the 4 letters in the front. You're definitely right about that.
Call me Mr. Big Chest.
Yes, indeed. It's a man's body right here.
Is that what the 7 letters are, man body?
That's it. Yes, absolutely.
What y'all looking at is a man body.
Thank you, Antonio. Where is Antonio Brown going to play next year? We'll talk about that tomorrow. In the letters that many of you mailed to Jason Ross here at 280 Commerce Circle, Sacramento, California, 95815. We will open Jason Ross's mail tomorrow on the show. So it's the Kings and the Warriors tonight. We expect a little bit more from DeMarcus Cousins in terms of his minutes out there on the floor. We only expect that because, well, Steve Kerr told us we were going to get that. But we asked you the question over on the Lowdown Facebook page. How confident are you that the Kings will make the playoffs? Remember, this conversation doesn't end when we say goodbye here at the top of the hour. This conversation goes on all throughout the day. So if you haven't gotten to Facebook yet, when you do, search out the Lowdown. Make sure you like us there and take part in our daily questions. This one pertains specifically to your Sacramento Kings. And it looks like a lot of Kings fans, particularly here on social media, are very confident. Pete notes, and I think this is kind of the caveat for every Kings fan who thinks they're going to make the playoffs, is this 5-game stretch coming out the gate might very well determine their fate, where they're going to have teams like, obviously, the Golden State Warriors tonight. If you go back to before the All-Star break, they're coming off that loss against the Denver Nuggets. That right there are the 1 and 2 teams in the Western Conference. You got the Milwaukee Bucks coming to town next week, and you've also got Oklahoma City mixed up in the conversation as well. So there is a lot going on. Ryan says, I'm as confident as Tim Donaghy is when he bets on a game that he's reffing. That was an interesting way to wake up a couple of mornings ago, to see that long, extensive investigative piece into Tim Donaghy. It's a very long piece. If you haven't read it yet, take the time to sit aside and take a look at it.
Make sure you carve out 6 to 8 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. You'll need some time there to deal with your emotions there at the end as well. You might want to do all of that stuff. Keith says Kings are making the playoffs. We're making it with 45 to 47 wins. Schedule looks easy. This all-star break that gave them good rest. That's from Jose. Okay? I don't know about the easy schedule part, but
not a super easy schedule.
I like their chances simply because I dislike the Lakers, and I don't believe the Clippers actually want to make it.
If the Kings, so they've played 3 games over 500 this entire year. If they play 3 games over 500 the rest of the way, that would give them that put them at, I guess, they 14-11 in 25 games. That gets them to 44 wins. Okay. If the Clippers decide to, I don't want to say tank, but if the Clippers decide they don't want to make the playoffs, and the Lakers don't have a dramatic turnaround, I think 44 gets there. But if the Clippers and Lakers are both gonna really try and hit their stride, I think it's gonna take 46 to 47.
There are other teams to pay attention to that we're not talking about. You still pay attention to what San Antonio is doing. They've won 6 of their last 10, but they had a rough little stretch before that where they had lost 5 in a row. Maybe just for a little bit, keep an eye on Utah. Just a little bit. Just don't stare at them. Just look.
Just a passing glance.
Just a glance. Just a glance. Just keep an eye out on them.
It's fun to scoreboard watch for the Kings.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it matters. And not in terms of like, hey, we need all these teams to win to help the draft stock.
Right.
Like they need
dramatic turn from a couple years ago.
Extremely dramatic.
Yeah. Or even last year. Really.
Unbelievable, man.
Yeah, this is definitely a lot more fun. And you'll be able to scoreboard watch pretty easily tonight because it's going to be the Lakers and the Rockets on national television. You can keep an eye on that when your Sacramento Kings are playing the Golden State Warriors. Anything besides the increase of DeMarcus Cousins' minutes should we be watching for? Any difference we might see from the Golden State Warriors tonight, Kyle, after the break?
I think we might see them a little bit more locked in, although they were before the break as well. But this
feels
is the
like
time,
they have been since DeMarcus came back.
Yeah, this is the time of year where they're really going to start locking in and playing that high intensity. They're all playoff activated. So I think we see that a higher level of play from them and fewer games where they kind of sleepwalk through it.
Playoff activation.
You know, my level of intensity has to be, you know, unfortunately for me, because I don't like to do it at such an early time. I'm a little bit different, but it's been activated, so look forward to seeing what we can do.
I love this potential bet here on the text line. I will bet D'Lo the Kings don't make the playoffs, and when he loses, he will have to buy Kawhi's New Balance, wear them for a day, and then donate them to charity.
You can donate them to me.
What size are you?
10 or 10.5.
We could do it.
All right. Huzzah.
So he's telling me that the Kings aren't going to make the playoffs. So I have to take the side of the Kings making the playoffs. And if they don't, well, what's on the other end, though? Like, what does he have to do? Because I'll take the bet. I'll buy Kawhi's New Balance shoes.
He
and
has
wear
to
them,
buy both of us some Kawhis.
wear them for a Friday and then give them to you. They look quite comfy. They look like a great shoe.
Great job researching, Vladi. Really good researching there.
Did you draft him because you thought he was a fox? That is my favorite thing. The second
Did you
part.
draft De'Aaron Fox because you thought he was a fox?
The second part of the NBA season gets underway tonight. Of course, you can catch all of the coverage for your Sacramento Kings tonight with game day beginning, or game night, I guess, beginning at 6 o'clock. Kings Live coming up at 7 o'clock, and the G-Man on the tip on the Kings Radio Network here at 7:30. We thank you so much for being with us. We'll be back. We'll recap everything that happens in the association tonight. And, of course, we will recap your Sacramento Kings. For Kyle, our executive producer on the live stream, Jay Marshall, and the rest of the Lowdown crew that abandoned me today, we will see you tomorrow at 6 a.m.
This is the Lowdown.